Welcome to Heroes and Headlocks, your one-stop shop for all comic, wrestling, and pop culture related information. With your host, Anthony.
Hello everybody and welcome back. This is episode 4 now of Heroes and Headlocks. Today I have mi amigo supreme, who I've known goddamn how long now?
It's been, I think it's like 8 years, man.
That's freaking ridiculous.
2007.
Oh my god.
So 10 years.
That's disgustingly long. Anyway, it's Vinny. Hi Vinny.
Hello, buddy.
You still go by Vinny, or are you Mr.
Go by
Vince
whatever
now?
you want me to go by.
Oh, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm
for
sitting in
you.
with a celebrity today because I have one half of the duo from Guardians of Discourse podcast.
Woo.
How's that going?
It's going.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, right?
It's very easy.
It's very easy. It's remarkably like familiar. Like we should have been doing this years ago.
We talked about it when we were living together. We were roommates for quite a while.
Yeah, us
Probably
three
about a good
amigos,
3
you me and
years.
Joseph.
Joey, I'm sure he'll be on the podcast at some point.
He better be. If not, we'll have to like Skype him.
No,
or
he's
some
just going to
bullshit.
go on everybody else's podcast except for ours.
I know. Well, he did kind of inspire us and give us the oomph to actually.
What's
get
funny
going.
is like when he would talk about it, when we'd be sitting in the garage, he'd be like, yeah, I was listening to this podcast, or I was listening to this podcast, or this or that. I'd just kind of be like, meh.
Yeah, it never really affected me.
Never affected me at all.
I was like,
and
okay.
then all of a sudden, one day I decided to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. And then I kept listening to it, and I listened to it with my coworker, and Ben was like, dude, I would love to do a podcast. And I was like, I fucking would too, man. This seems really easy, and like him and I have pretty good conversations. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, this is like, we could totally do this.
Ben seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
I'm excited to meet him and
know.
have horrible horror movie night
It'd
and
be
stuff.
great.
Oh, that'll be so
Dude,
glorious.
horrible horror movie night's going to be the best.
So a little background on that is we used to have big old gathering of people when I used to work back at Best Buy, and we'd have everybody over and we'd pick like the 2 worst like horrible horror movies you could think of. I think some of the ones we watched were Monkey Shines.
Yeah.
We had it wasn't the Blob. It was, oh my god, what was it?
Which
it was
one?
the one where the Stuff.
I remember. I don't remember the movie though. What was the premise?
It was like people selling products and then they morphed into a goo and they were eating everybody.
Oh yeah.
And Joe was like so happy
dude.
about
It was like a restaurant owner, right?
No, that was another one too.
Which one was that?
That was.
I don't remember the name of it. I don't think I'd be able to if I tried.
It was the one where they were sacrificing people to summon a god.
Yeah,
right?
and the
Blood
chicks,
Diner.
Blood Diner, and the chicks that ran the bar were like hella hot.
Yeah.
and they like lured in people, and then they ate humans.
The dudes were hella ugly,
It was like
though.
Sweeney Todd, but like a shitty version.
It's from what, back in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Oh, that'll be so fun.
dude, that movie was. Ugh.
There was some bad ones. There was Trolls 2 and Critters, and I feel like there was a few other ones, but damn, it's really easy to find shitty movies, surprisingly.
It used to not be horrible horror movie night. Though.
Just be horrible movie.
Yeah, we used to do it on man days because we used to have man days all the time.
Like Robo Geisha.
Yeah, Robo Geisha and giant shark or Mega Shark versus giant octopus.
Oh my god, dude! I felt like I wasted an hour and a half
That
of my life.
movie was god awful. Like I would, but at the same time, I would rather watch that movie than an M. Night Shyamalan flick. So
your hatred for him knows no bounds.
the fact that you have betrayed me in many more ways than one with watching his bullshit.
I was listening to your
beyond me.
podcast, and when you went on a rant about it, the whole time in my head, I'm just thinking, "Oh my god, so
He's
much
gonna
betrayal."
talk about me. He's gonna mention me
As soon as you said M. Night Shyamalan, I'm like, I'm done.
God.
This is over with.
because it's bullshit.
You know, the other one I was thinking that I don't think you guys mentioned, but I remember you were talking about is his most recent one.
Christ, he had a recent one.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I thought that was The Visit.
No,
we talked
there was
about The
another
Visit.
one, I thought. Unless I'm tripping.
That was when Ben was like, "Oh, it was a good movie." Like, shut the fuck up.
It wasn't a good movie. It just wasn't a terrible movie.
It was a terrible movie.
You didn't even see it. You're like Matt.
I don't have to know it's a terrible movie.
I don't know. The one thing with that movie is that I know you're over his plot twists and all that, but it was a decent plot twist. And I didn't see that coming.
I disagree.
The shit getting rubbed in the guy's face was a little much.
What?
Yeah, the old grandpa. Are you ever gonna see it?
No.
Okay, spoilers, because I'm gonna run this movie for you. So the person posing as his grandfather they both end up being like really patients that were at a psychiatric ward that the grandparents used to work at, and so they killed the grandparents and took their place because the grandchildren had never met their grandparents. So the whole movie, and the mom is on like Skype, but it seems like at every point in time
the grandparents aren't in the picture.
Exactly, or like cake batter got spilled on the camera or something like that. But you never think about it. You're just like, that was weird. And so at the very end, the kid has like a weird thing with germs. So the grandpa like is incontinent, so he shits himself and then rubs it in the kid's face.
What?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. But it
smell me.
Yeah, dude, it was a one and done, but I didn't mind it. No, there was another one he's coming out with, or he. Well, they announced.
I don't think he's. If it is, he's probably not directing it. He rarely ever directs anything anymore. He's always a producer.
Yeah, because he knows.
Writer, because he's a fucking asshole.
He knows that if he's in the directed title, you and me won't go see it. So
yeah, and you're like, oh, he just wrote it. You know, the whole idea of the movie is his, so there's no way it could be bad.
Dude, Devil wasn't that bad. You need to just let it be. It was one time. It won't happen again.
You would rate it above Skyline?
Oh, we can finally talk about Skyline.
Yeah, it's for the world.
Oh my god, we tried to do this so many years ago. So we originally had the idea to do like a video movie review thing.
Yeah.
And we did one, and we were forced to because we went to the movies and spent hard-earned cash on this movie that looked like it was going to be somewhat decent.
Somewhat that I wasn't even planning on seeing until it was your mom and grandma, and you were going. And what's funny is like, because our friend John at the time,
yeah,
you used to go with him everywhere. Like you guys would go out to dinner, you guys would go out to the movies and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but he would go with you and your grandma and your mom, and you guys would always go and do stuff. And I remember I'd always sit there and be like, God damn, man, like, why don't I ever get to go out with him and his grandma and his mom?
You know
like,
why.
What the fuck? And, well, this was during the time when we were like, cool.
Oh.
And so then...
Maybe I don't remember that. But...
So then there was one day, and it was when the movie Skyline came out, and Anthony randomly told me, he was like, hey, dude, do you want to go to the movies tonight? And I was like, oh, I can't squander this shit. They want me to go. So I was like, yeah, I totally want to go. Let's do it. So I went there, and he was like, did you want to see this movie? I'm like, not really. I was like, I don't really know much about the movie. Man, we went into that shit, spent money on it, go inside, sit down, watch the movie, and because it had, what's his name from Scrubs in it? What's his name?
The Michael Faison.
Michael Faison, yeah.
Why do I know that? That's disgusting.
The fact that I love... Oh my God.
The Mexican guy.
The Mexican guy.
Oh.
You know what's funny is, like, I automatically was like, oh yeah, and Danny Trejo was in it. It totally, obviously was not, but he acted like such a fucking... Oh my God.
Like he thought he was a badass.
He was the only redeeming factor in that movie.
And wasn't he like a chef or something?
Yeah.
And he's like, I am here to survive with my family. That dude.
I will sacrifice myself for you. And then he's just like, wasn't he like shooting out the window for some, like the aliens were coming? Oh my God.
It was literally the worst. Somebody asked me the other day what movie I hate, and I couldn't think of it, and I don't know why, but that's the top of the list.
Yeah, no, that is definitely up there. I don't think I could rate it over M. Night Shyamalan, though.
Really?
I despise that movie, but I despise him as a person, like, wholeheartedly.
You're like, I skip his movies. It's him I hate.
Man. Like, if it says his name on it, I'm not going to see it. But, like, if that director that directed Skyline did another movie, I'd probably watch it.
Really? You would give that guy a second chance?
I gave M. Night Shyamalan multiple chances.
That's true.
I hated The Village, and I still saw fucking other shit. Because I saw The Village before I saw anything else. Because that movie came out when we were in high school.
Yeah,
like it was probably like 2005.
Yeah.
So I remember I went and saw The Village, and I was like, that movie was terrible. And then I was like, oh, okay, he directed this movie, Lady in the Water, and I was like, okay, sure.
Too.
Terrible movie.
Happening.
The Happening, terrible movie. And this was before I saw Signs, because I didn't see Signs until
really
after. Yeah.
What about Unbreakable?
Unbreakable, I hadn't seen until after either.
I remember the other movie now, Split. He directed. Did you see Split or no?
No.
So that's his most
That's
recent
the most
one.
recent one.
I
thought I had Splice in my head for a second, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That movie sucked too.
You almost looked like you were gonna beat me when you said it too.
Shit.
Another movie you despise with a passion.
And that's 2 movies I've been scared by Adrian Brody.
Oh my god, he was in both of those.
He's creepy as fuck, man.
He likes to have sex with like child aliens.
And he likes to have sex with blind women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both great subjects.
It's scary. He's a scary man. Like if you put the right camera angle on him from like up above, it's when I picture Adrian Brody, I picture that moment when he was the retard and he like looks up at him and he's like smiling right after he stabs Joaquin Phoenix, and I'm just like, oh,
he giggles like a weird.
yeah, like oh fuck.
He's cool though, because like when he won, I think he won the Oscar for The Pianist, and he ran on stage and kissed Halle Berry.
The Pianist was a great movie.
The Pianist.
The Pianist.
I like how you say that so fast. He's like Pianist.
Pianist.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
It was a good movie, but Adrian Brody's not a bad actor by any means. It's just he's a scary looking fucker if you put him in the right role.
He's good. He's good at his job.
Yeah, he's a creepy, like weird rapist type. I don't even know what that would be considered. Like in the movie Splice, like is that bestiality technically, alienality?
Well, I mean, he created something
because there's a lot of people that are like that. Like when you think about dudes that have a thing for like chicks in World of Warcraft, like, oh, I fucking have a thing for orcs. Like, what is that considered?
That's a good question.
Like, is there a fucking name for that?
Well, not that I was randomly having this conversation, but I was the other day. I know, like, anthropomorphic stuff, like if you're talking about furries and things, that's a whole category. But orcs, I would assume, might fit into that category, because they're kind of based in...
See, anthropomorphic, though, I don't know if that would be bestiality to me.
Essentially, yeah.
Like, you want to fuck a dog. Like, that's basically what that looks like.
I heard someone the other day, I don't want to say names because they'll hate me forever, but they were talking, somebody ratted him out and said that he wanted to fuck Judy Hopps from Zootopia. I don't know if you ever saw that. And I was like, okay. And they're like, no, I said she was cute. And I said, no,
hey,
that's weird.
Let's be honest for a second, though.
If you're going to talk about Lola Bunny.
Yes. From Space Jam.
Yeah. But I feel like we were young.
Say you didn't have one little inkling of a crush on Lola Bunny.
Yeah, a crush, but we were also young and didn't want to be like, oh man, I want to just do her.
I mean, it's weird how, like, I was talking to a friend about it the other day, and how, like, when you look back at Looney Tunes and how often Bugs Bunny was portrayed as like a transsexual. Yeah. Like, if you look at, like, the opera scenes when he's dressed up as the woman, he's got tits and shit.
Oh,
like,
my God, I love those.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, back then, they sexualized these cartoons. Like, anytime there was, like, obviously, Bugs Bunny was a dude, but they put him in a woman's role, and all of a sudden he's, you know. Look at how many people had a thing for, what's her name? From Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Jessica Rabbit?
Jessica Rabbit.
That also came up the other day. So someone's like, you're telling me if Jessica Rabbit was real in real life, you wouldn't do her? And then I showed them the picture of Heidi Klum from Halloween where she dressed up like Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
And that's horrifying.
I know. I know.
It's so unrealistically creepy.
I know.
It's just,
but you look at the cartoon and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I totally get it, but it's weird to think about in some ways. And some characters, you're just like, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't think of it.
But at the same time, like, I guess to play devil's advocate, like, where's the harm in thinking a cartoon is hot?
That's true. Like if
they're
obviously
it's not
drawn
like you
that
can
way.
ever act on it.
That's also true.
You can't fuck a cartoon. Why is it so creepy?
I don't know. But it's the same thing with comics, I guess, too. Like, they're obviously drawn to be sexy. And like...
Or like anime. Like, dudes that have a thing for... But, you know what? With anime, though, it gets really creepy with anime.
Really creepy, really fast.
Because, like, when you have, like, the little schoolgirls and shit, like, okay, that's a little much. Now we're getting into pedophilia. Now you're kind of being like, you can actually act on it kind of thing, and that's where I think it draws the line.
So, I had a question I was thinking about the other day. So, you know how when you watch Dragon Ball Z when you're younger, and... like Roshi's like sniffing panties. And,
yeah.
Like, how old was Bulma when Dragon Ball Z started? Because I feel like she was still probably pretty young.
It's so hard to tell with all like the time travel and shit that they do.
Know. It pisses. Well, I just feel
so
like that's
are we talking?
a weird thing.
Are we talking about like We're talking about the initial Dragon Ball Z. So not the Buu saga, not
Just like starting
Cell
off,
Saga.
you meet Raditz, and
Or
Raditz
the
kidnaps
Android
Gohan
Saga.
like right away. Because in Dragon Ball, like she was,
well,
I
how
think
old was Goku?
in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball.
Oh my God, he was like, I want to say he was like 10 or 12. Like he was a little dude, and so she must have been like 15, 16 at that time.
Ooh, and he stink. Oh man, he's smelling her panties.
Roshi is he's one of those characters that
He's
even
the
though he does
creepiest old
horrendous
man
things, you're just like,
I used to love when he would like get into a fight and he just get jacked as shit. Oh my like God. He's walking. It's like Yoda. Like if Yoda just all of a sudden was like, and then just yoked up real quick and just tore shit up for like 2 seconds.
they don't do it very often though.
No, it's maybe what, like 4 times in the entire. If
Yeah,
that,
probably.
it's not a lot.
And then they did it in the Dragon Ball Z movie that we saw with Golden Frieza that I'm blanking out on the name of. But it's in the show obviously too, but
The one with Beerus? Or no?
second one with Beerus.
Oh god.
The one where Frieza was trapped in hell with all the happy fairies and then he became
Yeah. I forgot the name of that one.
Yeah, I know the first one was Battle of the Gods. And I don't know how I'm blank. Oh, Resurrection
F.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So in the movie he's all in it, but then I've heard that in the Super series, he's not even in that fight scene at all. They like completely removed him. I'm like, that's stupid.
Why?
I don't know. Roshi's great.
Roshi, he hasn't been in a tournament before, right?
I think he was
Because I feel like
originally.
that was one of the times that he got jacked.
That was in Dragon Ball, I think. Because they had a whole saga that was like World Tournament, I think. I think it went like, oh my God, Emperor Pilaf, and then Red Ribbon Army, and then maybe the World Tournament, and then the Piccolo saga. So Dragon Ball was actually really weird. Like, I'm glad,
I don't
Dragon Ball
remember
Z
the
was
Red
so good.
Ribbon Army.
They were cool.
Were they?
Yeah. You know, so if you don't watch that and then you watch Dragon Ball Z and then they have the Android saga, the leader of the Android person, Dr. Gero, was from the Red Ribbon Army, but didn't even show him. It didn't even look like him. I was like, okay, that's weird. Some hidden guy that you never knew existed. So I guess you technically don't have to watch Dragon Ball to be caught up on that.
That's true.
But,
So moral of the story is Roshi's a pedophile.
but a lovable
But a
pedophile.
lovable pedophile. Anime's weird.
Yeah, some are cool, but there was one
You know what? It's not anime's fault. It's Japanese people.
They love that shit.
The Japanese male, like when you really think about the whole culture over there and how it's based around obviously completely being submissive as a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's insane how much it's reflected in their art style, like in general.
Yeah.
Like if anyone in our society had done anything like that, it's just there's no way. But
No.
when Japanese do it, it's like it's just the Asian guys, man. That's just them.
We get immediate flack for
Yeah,
anything
we
do.
immediately are like, oh, fucking feminism.
It's true.
You guys are assholes.
It's
Because
really
it's not
weird.
women that are drawing those things. When was the last
No.
time you saw a woman artist that was doing anime
That's very true.
that wasn't in America, or that was actually like mainstream on TV and was creating a cartoon?
And you know, I don't even know that many artists by name. I know Akira Toriyama because that's Dragon Ball Z, and I know Hideko. Oh crap! The guy that does Neon Genesis.
Never saw it.
Those are like the only two guys I know, really. And other than that,
That's because their names are hard to remember.
But I mean, the ones that you do remember are like the ones that you've like the guy from Metal Gear, Hideo. I don't know.
You say Hideo, I go to Atami.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm
oh yeah.
does that make me racist?
Speaking of WWE, I just got the update for it.
Ric Flair?
No. Well, I saw that.
Oh.
Why did he go into surgery?
They don't know. He had a whole bunch of health complications, and so they had to put him in a medically induced coma, and they operated on him today. But they said he's like resting and with family and stuff like that. But I was like, damn, that sucks.
I was about to text you and be like, Ric Flair is in surgery, smiley face.
You would smiley face that, you jerk. Your hatred for him just saddens me.
I do not like Ric Flair.
He's a legend, man.
No, he's not.
You gotta respect the legend.
Why?
Because that's what you do. They paved the way for the Nevilles and the...
I cannot find it. It's some guy that was on Ring of Honor that just got signed.
Oh, signed?
Yeah. His name was Boone or something like that.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I haven't watched Ring of Honor in a long time since they had it on Comcast for a while on like, I want to say it was Pop, and then they took it off, and now I don't ever see it. Like I saw it for that brief period of time, and it was great.
On Pop?
Pop Network.
Pop Network?
Pop.
Pop.
With our pop shields.
With our pop shields. Ain't gonna get no popping up in here.
Nah.
Not today, no.
Did you ever see the tag team Red Dragon?
No.
They
sounds dope.
They're super good. It's Bobby Fish and I'm forgetting. I'm gonna insert.
Raw hasn't come on yet, right? I'm not gonna like ruin anything for myself.
Oh, Raw's been on.
Oh shit!
It's
I
over.
just spoiled something for myself.
It's over in like 14 minutes.
Not that I really care about the cruiserweights, but
oh, Neville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you already know that he was gonna?
I usually wait till the next week to go over the current Raw since I typically always do these on Monday. But I read the spoilers because I'm stupid. And Neville won the title, or no, Neville lost the title to Akira Torazama. You know what really upsets me about that? I feel like Austin Aries should have won it, and then Austin Aries... Did you know he quit?
Who?
Austin Aries.
Did he really?
Yeah, he quit like 2 months ago.
I did. Yeah, I did. It was that night that last pay-per-view. It was before that, right?
Yeah, it was before that. How? Yeah. That just is so sad.
I don't.
You weren't a big...
I did. He didn't do anything for me. Like, yeah, he was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, but there's plenty others.
I know.
I can do without him.
But Neville should have stayed champion because there's no one else that should have, like, dethroned him. It's Neville.
I know, and I love Neville.
He's our little baby.
He's our little baby. He's just little baby Neville. Been following him since his first steps.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like the second I was like, dude, this is the dude.
This is the dude,
the
right?
Little flippy dip.
Done. Yeah, as soon as because that was around the time. Who else was getting signed? That was when Hideo Itami was getting signed, right? No, it was.
That was a little bit before. This was around the time that Sami Zayn got signed.
That's what it was.
And
we were just sitting in the backyard and we were just looking up like old fucking from New Japan. We were just looking up all kinds of videos of him. And we were just like, man, this guy's going to be legit. And sure as shit, dude, he came in, he tore it up.
And then they just wasted him.
And then they wasted him. Like, I understand that obviously you need somebody who's big with production.
Yeah.
Based like Neville is to carry the cruiserweight division. Because realistically, there's a lot of talent in the cruiserweight division, but none of them are like stars. None of them are stars or likable.
No.
Because I don't like anyone else that's inside the cruiserweight division.
Nobody?
Aside from what's the black dude's name?
Oh, dude, how am I forgetting everybody's name? Holy crap. This is terrible.
It's because you're around me.
It is. I'm like,
dude,
thinking
every
of all these
time,
things.
man.
But you know, that's also the most satisfying part of our relationship is when we forget something, we have to figure it out. We cannot look it up.
I remember when we'd be sitting in the garage, man, and you and I were sitting in the garage and we couldn't think of something. And then all of a sudden Brenna's like, oh, I'm just going to look it up. And we're like, no, you can't look it up. We need to figure this out on our own.
We will not accept this.
We will not accept it. Like, you just need to back off.
Apollo Crews, by the way, I remember.
Apollo Crews. That's who I was trying to think of. Apollo. I knew it was something to do with a spaceship.
That name's so much better than his like indie name. His indie name was Yuha Nation.
That is terrible.
I know. Apollo Crews is so much better.
Good God.
So speaking of things where we can't remember, the best one was when we worked at Target, and we, for the life of us, could not remember James Earl Jones' name, which that should be a standard among all people, is remember James Earl Jones' name.
And you know what's funny is, like, every time I tell this story to somebody, I'm always like, yeah, we couldn't remember who did the voice of Darth Vader. Because I'm always just curious, like, maybe sometime there's going to be somebody that just doesn't know,
Yeah.
Nope, everyone always knows. They're like, you couldn't remember James Earl Jones? I'm like, God damn it. Immediately. Like, the minute you say Darth Vader, they're like, James Earl Jones. I'm like, well, of course they're going to know that. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, man, I can't believe we didn't know that.
Does it just hurt you a little inside?
Yeah, because the story was we were sitting in the food court. And we're just like, I don't even remember what we were talking about. We were just talking about like good voices or something like that. Like, oh, if whoever would be the voice of God, who would it be? Would it be between James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman?
Oh, such good choices.
And like we were having that whole discussion, and then we couldn't remember. I was like, Darth Vader, dude. What the fuck is his name? And you're like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, he's in fucking Field of Dreams. Fucking, you're like, shit.
Voice of Mufasa?
Shit. Yeah, I know. Fucking, what the fuck? And then, yeah.
And didn't a customer tell us?
Yeah, because we went over to because we were so hell-bent on figuring it out that we walked all the way over to the electronics department, grabbed the DVD off of the shelf that was one of the Star Wars movies, and we're looking at the back of it. And then we're starting to get loud because we're getting frustrated. We're just like, where the hell is the name? Why don't they have any names on the back of this DVD? And then the lady was like, are you guys okay? And we're like, yeah, we're just trying to figure out the name of the actor who plays Darth Vader. And she's like, James Earl Jones. And we're like, like she gave us one of those like the Rock eyebrows. We're just like, yes, that's it.
I've never felt so like happy and vindicated in my life. It was the best moment.
It was, but at the same time, I felt like much less of a man.
Because she was just like, oh, you guys should have known that. You know what's funny?
Like if she was hot and she did that, I would have been like, oh,
that's the lady you marry right there.
I'm just going to curl into a ball. No, hell no.
What?
I couldn't marry her after that.
Remember when we met and you didn't know James?
Remember when we met? And, yeah, she'd be like, he doesn't even know who James Earl Jones is. So I'd be like, God damn it. I'd never be able to live it down.
Lives with you forever.
No way.
Tells all her friends. Make a joke about it at the wedding. God. Terrible things. Those times always make me so happy, though. We've gone on so many adventures over the years.
Yeah, there's a lot of little us not remembering stuff.
We always eventually figure it out, though.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah,
if not, we'll just give up.
There's times, though, when it takes hours. Like, we'll sit there and I'm like, God, we just got to stop thinking about it. And then, sure shit, we'll just come back to it.
It makes for I mean, that's like what do you call it? Like an activity all in itself. Like if you're bored, just don't remember something and then it'll rack your brain.
Yeah. Unfortunately, people are not as absent-minded as we are, apparently. Maybe we just have like ADD when it comes to our thoughts.
Probably.
Which I think is why we're halfway decent at talking on podcasts, is because we're so sporadic with our thought.
That's true. It just shoots off into
just tangents.
Like when me and Matt were talking last week, and we literally would go 4 subjects away, and then we would somehow come all the way back to our original point. That's really
Full
hard
circle.
to do.
I know.
Holy crap.
It is.
It's like you're just pulling yourself out of that hole.
It's so difficult sometimes, though.
You guys do pretty well with it, though. I mean, I feel like you have like a basis for what you're talking about, and then you just figure out ways to jump to different things, and it flows very easily for you guys, I feel.
Yeah. It depends.
It depends?
It depends, because like sometimes when you start a certain subject, it's really difficult to maintain it. Like, especially if there's a certain point that you're going to say and then you don't go off on a tangent, then it's like, oh shit. And it's kind of like a jump cut. Like you immediately are like, oh fuck, we got to change the subject now. So that is probably the hardest part about it. But other than that, if you can just flow and you can just have like a full, 2-hour conversation without stopping and being able to, then that's what makes it nice and easy.
The thing I really like about your guys' podcast, too, is that the subject matters, there's nothing off limits. Like, literally, it's anything goes territory.
Yeah, it's very not safe for work.
NSFW for sure.
NSFW. That's mostly because what I love about Ben is that he's a lot like me in the sense that there are no boundaries.
Yeah.
So like the other day, we recorded one and the sound was kind of fucked up, so I didn't end up posting it. Plus, we only recorded for an hour and it just wasn't working. And next week we'll be posting the next one. But it was. Oh no, I think this was on the one that we actually posted. But he was like, so if you fuck a puppy, is that pedophilia?
Oh my god! How did you get to that?
I don't know.
Holy
I won't
shit.
go into it any more than that, but that was basically what it came down to.
I don't even know how that comes up in conversation.
Well, and you know what's funny is like these are the conversations that we used to have with like Josh.
Yeah.
Like that is something to me that like Josh would have said at any given time. He would, maybe not to that extent, but that's Ben's mind, dude. Like, I love it. Like, he just comes up with this shit and he'll just spout it out at me randomly. Like, and it's just great, dude. Like, it's not your mom's podcast. Like, you should definitely never have any part of your, like, my mom the other day, she was like, what do you guys talk about on your thing? And I'm like, nothing.
Don't listen,
absolutely
Mom.
Nothing.
Stay away.
I was like, we don't talk about anything. I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, oh yeah, when Ben comes over, I'm like, nah.
That's why we soundproof
Ben
the walls,
doesn't
Mom.
come over. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know a Ben.
Well, did I say we're doing a podcast? No, we're not doing a podcast.
You wouldn't like show her a snippet? I mean, I don't know what snippet you could show her the Ben Franklin story, and that would be great.
Ben Franklin story. In the history of all of my conversations, that by far was one of the hardest conversations I've ever laughed at. Like, that was true. Everything in that moment was so on point for me that just the image of Ben Franklin sprinting across a field with a kite, it just
set you off.
Just amazing.
I love when something tickles you because it's very rare that you'll get so tickled that you just break. Like, dude, you are a broken person.
I broke. I was crying. Like, I lost it.
What video did Matt show you like a few weeks ago and you just had the same reaction and you just died laughing for like 20 minutes?
I don't remember.
Whatever it was great because you just were like in tears and I didn't hear any sounds coming out of your mouth.
Dude, because it was I don't know. It was probably something like, it was something on one of those cringe videos.
Dude, those are rough.
Yeah, the you laugh you lose ones are really hard.
Yeah, I never get past those.
I'm
maybe like 10 to 15
I have made it past one of them, and I think it was because Matt told me before we watched it. He was like, "There is no way you're going to make it through this one." He was like, "This one, I found the one that's going to break you." And so I sat through the whole thing, and I held back every bit of laughter I could possibly muscle.
Oh, that must have been hard.
It was difficult as shit. Because he knows that if he throws... Because I'm a horrible person. He knows if he throws retards at me, I'm automatically going to try and... I'm just going to want to laugh. But the funny thing is to tell all of you this story.
Oh, God.
The reason that happens with me is because every time I see somebody who is special ed, I automatically think of Anthony. And it's because when we worked at Target together... Anthony, I was working, I had opened, and Anthony was coming in to work in probably like 15 minutes from when this started. So I'm standing at the counter, and we used to get the special ed bus. They would bring in all of the retards in, and they would, come in and hang out inside of the store. And so I'm standing, we called it the boat. It was the counter that was inside home theater. It was shaped like a boat, which is why we called it the boat.
That makes more sense. I was always wondering why it was called a boat.
Yeah, it was shaped like a boat.
Oh, that makes sense.
Had the little thing in the middle, like, the mast where the...
We were like the captains of the boat.
Yeah, we're the captains of the boat.
Fancy.
So I was standing in the boat, and one of them comes up to the counter, and he's like, so I'm looking for the movie with the guy in the thing, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, what movie are you looking for? And he's like,
Phineas and Ferb.
The movie with the thing and the guy and the thing. And so I'm just kind of like, all right. So I stood there for probably a good 10 minutes, and we were just, talking back and forth. Now, as nice as I was being, I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. I had no desire to find out, to be completely honest. So he walks away. I basically, I was like, yeah, I don't think we have what you're looking for. So he walks away, and I see Anthony, and Anthony's coming up. And I'm like, oh, cool. I get to go on break or whatever. Well, it wasn't time for my break. So he walks up, and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? And he's like, nothing. How's it been? I'm like, oh, it's been slow. And as soon as Anthony, he's like putting his stuff under the counter, and I see the special ed kid walking back. And I'm like, there's a customer over here. I'm going to go help him. And he's like, oh, okay. And so I walk around the corner, and from the corner, I peek around, and Anthony stands up, and he walks over to the counter, and the special ed kid's standing there. And for the next 45 minutes, Anthony is stuck with him. And little did I know, it was because Anthony saw it as a challenge. because all of a sudden, this kid comes up and he really wants whatever the hell he's looking for. And Anthony's like, I'm going to figure this shit out in his head. But on the outside, he's not understanding a thing. And I just remember, like, I peeked around and Anthony turned his head and looked at me and just gave me like one of those dead stares.
And you just like, giggled and hid.
I was dying. I couldn't stop laughing. Like, I went around the corner. I was literally only laughing at Anthony's pain and nothing else. Not because the kid was talking funny or not because, he had problems. I was laughing at Anthony. So now every time I see one of them or hear them, I automatically go to kind of laugh because I'm thinking about Anthony standing at that counter looking back at me pissed.
I did eventually figure it out, though, even though we didn't have it in stock.
You was Phineas and Ferb.
I was like, that's not even out yet.
You know what the best part was that, like, back then, we didn't have anything that could look up stock. Like, we could like, scan it, but it didn't have any kind of search features.
Thing, yeah.
So it was just, if we didn't know where it was, then it wasn't there.
Is that sad? That was before, like, the internet had officially been, like,
yeah,
cool.
We were still selling video iPods.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
Yeah, dude. I know. We had tube TVs lined up across the top that we had to turn on every morning. Remember, you take the remote and it would turn on like 3 at a time and you just walk it across?
I feel like we could literally do a whole podcast about working at Target because that job was ridiculous.
It was a whole different realm.
It was. That was like my second job ever.
That was my first.
Oh, yeah, huh? And we, like, started a month apart from each other. Like, it wasn't a huge gap.
No, and you know what's funny is when I started, I always thought that you had been there for hella long. Because I remember John introduced us, and he was like, oh, yeah, Anthony, and, this and that. And you'd only been there for, like, a month, and I'm sitting here listening to you talk like you're a fucking genius. Like, you'd been here forever, and you're a diehard. Now, I didn't even find out till years later that you had only been there for a month more than me.
What can I say? I like electronics.
And then we left to go to Best Buy at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like a month apart.
I really can't stay away from electronic businesses. It's just depressing.
Yeah.
They just follow me around.
It's difficult.
I mean, hey, we're good at it. So, I mean, what's the harm in it, right?
It's true.
And you've been doing that realm of stuff for a super long time, too.
It's true.
I don't know. It's so weird when you meet people and they're so technically not inclined. And then you try to explain things to them, and they don't get it.
It just doesn't click.
And I have a lot of patience. Like, I have a lot of patience.
So do I. And that's natural. You know what? That's why I've always said that people should always work retail, because you really do develop a whole different sense of patience.
And thick skin, too, when people are yelling at you. Yeah, that's the perfect two things that most people need. You need to have empathy, patience, and then the thick
Especially
skin.
for anytime you go into any kind of service whatsoever. Like, just... If you're going into a store and something's not going your way, don't be a bitch about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why you need to get mad at that person. That person's not the cause. So if your order got screwed up, it's not because the person that is standing there telling you that it's screwed up did it. So don't get mad at them.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at the manager either because they didn't do it. Chances are it's probably their system that's screwed up.
That's very true.
Or the guy inside the warehouse that screwed it up or whatever. Like, if you go to the restaurant and they bring out, you asked for pickles and they didn't give you pickles. Don't yell at the waiter because he didn't give you pickles. Like, shit happens. He's a human.
I hate people that do that just to get, like, free shit.
Yeah. Why?
It's so stupid.
Why? Why do you have to be a horrible piece of shit?
Because they're cheapos.
Realistically. Because they're, yeah.
It's really disgusting.
I seriously doubt that money has anything to do with it.
I think it's just to see if they can do it. Like, it's a personal challenge to themselves. They're like, let me see if I can get this for free.
I can get this guy to do this shit. It's my birthday.
Working in the food industry, then you realize, like, if you do not give those people crap because they don't deserve it at all.
And see, what's funny is I never worked in the food industry, but I don't need to know that I'm not going to give those people crap.
Plus, you had a lot of friends that did, too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Between you and everybody else, like...
Everybody, at least, that I know, at least worked in pizza once. For like a year or two.
Jason worked at In-N-Out Burger.
Oh yeah, huh? Man, I think that job would have been fun.
Though.
It looks like a fun job.
You know what? I think it's because, especially working behind, like if you're not taking the orders and stuff, all you're doing is just working with other people all day. You don't have to deal with customers or anything.
I want to be would I want to be the fry guy, or I want to be the guy that cuts up the potatoes?
Yeah,
so that'd be a fun job. That looks like the best job.
Ah, man, that'd get tiring.
The really sad part is with our other jobs.
We got to stand in one spot all day.
Yeah, we could move around at least.
Ugh.
Or sit.
That would suck. Like if you had to, or the cooks, like if you're on the grill, which is like that's one of the highest, from what I remember Jason telling me, if I remember correctly, being the grill guy is one of the highest paid jobs.
I could see that. You're doing a lot of work.
Aside from like the managers or whatever.
I don't like the small confined space of that job though.
I'm never going to move more than 2 steps.
And it's always going to be busy.
It's always going to be busy.
I've never seen In-N-Out Burger not busy.
Yeah, unless it's late at night. Like I've gone at like 11 or 12 at night and it's not busy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there at least like a few people in line or is it pretty dead?
No, it's usually, I mean, I guess on a weekday, usually it's not. But if you go on a weekend, I'm sure it's still busy.
Do you
get all the teenagers and shit.
Do you know why they Have the person that stands outside with the tablet and writes down your order?
It's because when the cars pull up, right?
Yeah.
You have to wait for the line to move to take more orders. So it takes longer. They're basically waiting inside for orders to come through. So when they have the person that's going up and down the lines, you don't have to wait for the line to move because you'll notice that they'll keep walking down the line.
Oh,
so all they're doing is just stocking up a bunch of orders. This way, by the time this car gets moved all the way up, they've already taken their order like 5 minutes ago or whatever.
That's smart. So it's quicker.
But otherwise, they would have to wait till they got to here to take their order, and then they would have less time to cook their stuff.
More places should do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody else does that.
I know.
There's always like the lady behind the speaker who has been there for years and just enjoys sitting there.
Yeah. What I was thinking about the other day is, I think the problem and the reason In-N-Out Burger, I mean, one, they're delicious, but I think one of the reasons that they're so busy is they really don't have any competition for the type of burger that they sell.
And that's what they're good at. That's what they do.
That's it.
The
it's
only
just
thing
burgers.
they have.
There's no chicken nuggets. There's no nothing. It's just burgers. And what I thought about the other day is, imagine if they put a Sonic out here.
I would die.
Right?
I love Sonic.
Right? If they put a Sonic out here, how busy do you think that Sonic would be?
All the time.
Dude, there's...
Well, the closest one's in what? Tracy or Stockton or something?
Tracy.
That's still, what, a good 20, 30-minute drive?
Yeah, it's
and
too far for me to do.
Local, I'm all about that local. So if I can get me some Sonic local, and they go out to your car.
I know.
They have milkshakes and slushies.
It's like a drive-in movie, but for food.
It's so great.
Which I miss going to the drive-ins, man. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
I was talking to my friend about it the other day. She was like, "Oh, I really want to go to the drive-ins." I was like, "Yeah, I do too. That'd be fun." I haven't been in a long time.
Going with you was cool because you always had the truck. I was gonna say you put the mattress in the back.
Yeah, all the blankets and the pillows, and everybody just loads up. And we would like jam everyone into the back of the truck so that we could get more people in for free and like cover them up. Because we used to take my dad's Yukon sometimes too. Like,
was that bigger than your truck?
No, but I didn't have 4. Remember, I didn't have 4 seats in my first truck.
Oh yeah.
That was when Ashley and I used to go.
You had the 3-seater.
Yeah, I had the 3-seater.
So that truck was great though.
People in there. I know. I love that little thing.
You've always been the truck guy through the years, which has been, I'm sure, a blessing and a curse all at the same time.
I know. I've moved everyone.
And yet you still continue to get trucks. They're just your first love.
Continue to get trucks, man. And you know what's funny is, like, every girlfriend I have or have had, they've always been like, "Why don't you just get a car?" And I'm just kind of like, because why would I do that? Like,
and it's not
then you don't have to move people. Like, that's a dumb reason to not get a truck.
Yeah.
Like,
plus then you're the guy that
you don't need it. Like, how many times a year do I use my shit? Like, Brenna would tell me that sometimes. She'd be like, "You never use your truck. Like, when was the last time you used it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but that is true. It's been a while since I've used it, but
when you do need it.
But look at when I moved out. All I did was like 6-7 truckloads.
You're done.
I didn't have to rent a U-Haul.
Yeah, U-Hauls suck, dude.
I know they're expensive. I mean, it wouldn't have been expensive because I wasn't driving far, but still, I mean, that's, at least $100 for a short distance.
I remember when we moved somebody else we knew when we were like, a while ago, and we had to get the U-Haul, and it was you, me, and David.
Yeah.
That was a pain because didn't we make like 2 or 3 trips, and it was just, even though it wasn't a far distance, that sucker was still pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It was from Acorn, or we put it in Acorn storage, right?
David's? Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. That was when he was moving out of his dad's house the second time?
We know so many people that move, and yet we're still here.
I forgot about David. I didn't even add that to my list because that's on there.
Oh my God.
I've moved David twice.
You have a long list, dude. And the adventures you and me have gone on for couches.
Ugh.
Random people we don't know. We're like, hey, let's pick up a couch from you.
I know, man.
Those were good times, though.
Because it was David, and I've moved you. I helped you move.
Yeah.
I helped John move twice.
A few times.
Twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then I've helped my buddy Wesley move. I've helped Conrad move. I've helped Joel move 3 times. Like I've helped Athena move.
Yeah.
Athena and JJ. I've helped them move like 5 times.
Yikes.
Myself, I've moved twice.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. That's definitely a big list for over 3 trucks and over probably 15 to 20 moves.
Dude. I've helped Brenna move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
You're the dependable one.
I know.
I need to get you a sticker for your truck that just says dependable.
Dependable.
That way you know that's the guy.
That's not that guy. Don't call him.
Call 1-800-VINNY.
He's not moving anymore. Next time I move, man, it's done.
No more moves.
Never moving again.
I think that's it. Well, you eventually want to like retire.
I helped Bob move. My old boss.
Oh yeah, huh?
Not Brenna. Ashley's uncle.
Yeah.
I helped. Dude, I remember. Oh my God, we moved his whole house in a day.
Really?
His entire house, which I guess.
How big of a house was it?
We kind of did for Athena too, but what?
How big of a house was it?
It was fairly decent. It was over off of Garen. It was like Josh's size. His parents, yeah. And it was
Josh had a pretty nice house too.
Yeah. It was a decent sized house, but he had 2 bank safes that he had as gun lockers.
Oh,
and they were lead safes, dude.
Oh.
They were heavy as shit. I've never lifted anything that heavy in my life, nor will I ever again. But there's a reason why people hire movers and why movers charge so much is because goddamn moving houses sucks.
Yeah. I bet. Why? Well, you could just, have your friend do it for free.
God.
Speaking of lead, just because it's a random thought that I had in my head, why is it that Superman cannot use his X-ray vision through lead? I feel like that's a very random weakness to give him.
Well, it is X-ray vision, and X-rays can't pass through lead.
But he's an alien. You'd assume he'd have better X-ray vision.
But in the sense of the word, it is X-ray vision.
That's a good point. So it's based mostly just off the fact.
Yeah, it's not like an alien ability necessarily, because it's not an alien technology, I guess, or a biology. It's X-ray vision. He can just see through, and really, he doesn't see through. I guess he does, but he's just
He's your favy, right? Soups. I love me some soups.
I do love me some soups. That's my favorite DC.
Who's your favorite Marvel guy? On the spot decision.
I would have to say. Well, you know what? I always look for characters that I most relate to.
Yeah.
And I think the personality of Deadpool I relate to the most.
I'd say so. That and Wolverine.
You're
both lovable assholes.
Wolverine doesn't. Yeah, I know. But Wolverine doesn't have a comical side.
No, he's just kind of.
We laugh at him because what he's doing is so fucked up that it's funny, which is like me. But at the same time, he doesn't have that. He doesn't say shit just randomly that makes you laugh, which I can relate. Not that I'm like Deadpool, because I'm not even near the level of Deadpool, because he's amazing.
Yeah.
But personally, I think I relate better to Deadpool than any other Marvel.
Did you see what Josh Brolin looks like?
Like, if you could put Marvel and Captain America's patriotism together, that's me.
That's a perfect. If they had a baby and they fucked, or had
yeah, if those 2 babies met and fucked,
that would be you.
That would be the shit that they birthed.
Did you see what Josh Brolin looked like as Cable?
Yes,
he looks pretty cool.
Amazing.
I'm
very well done.
We had so many people that were in the running for that, and I remember you and me. I wanted Liam Neeson, even though I didn't think it would work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted Stephen Lang because he did look like Cable, and Kevin Nash even tried out for that.
Kevin Nash would have worked.
I think
I
so.
wouldn't have liked his body type. Doesn't work well for Cable.
And he's so old now, which
I
I
know.
guess, whatever. He could still work out.
Like, what was the last movie that we saw him in?
Magic Mike?
Is that the last? I didn't see Magic Mike.
Oh God, I'm sorry, me neither. What? Oh, it was on at work. I couldn't help it.
I would admit it if I did, but I didn't see Magic Mike.
I saw the majority of it.
Why did you see it though?
It was on at work.
Okay.
And we
you
used to
just
have
happened to
hour-long
watch it.
lunches.
Okay.
So I'm not that asshole that's like, hey, can we change this and watch something else?
I'm not either.
So somebody had it on, and I was like, fuck. I had avoided it
Guess
for
I'm
so
watching
long.
Magic Mike.
And then all of a sudden I see Kevin Nash on there, and I was like, what the fuck? Big Sexy? That's so weird. And then they had
Very
Joe...
fitting.
Yeah, they had Joe Manganiello, blah, 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 however you say his name.
Joe Magdaleno?
Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that guy. He was in it too. Like, it was just a whole bunch of buff
Magdaleno
dudes.
sounds right.
Yeah,
I don't know who Magdaleno is at all. I'm literally saying a name that's like what you said that sounds kind of familiar to me.
You're like, yeah, that guy.
Sure, that guy.
we'll just say.
I don't know if
that's what it
Magdalene's
is.
actually a person, but yeah.
Can you believe he's with what's her name? So
I don't even know who we're talking about.
the guy who was the werewolf in True Blood, and he's a very sexy looking dude.
Oh, yes.
Like,
I know who you're talking about now.
he's like the only sexy dude. Which
You could have said How I Met Your Mother, and I would have known
yeah, Marshall's
immediately.
friend.
Yes.
From college. Lawyered.
Lawyered.
That guy's great. I forget his name.
That
on
is
that
a
show.
sexy man. And he was in the Magnum Gold Bar commercials.
Oh,
The ice cream bars.
Those ice cream bars are amazing.
I know, they're the best.
We got the mini ones just because that way I feel like less of a fat ass if I eat the mini one.
I don't think you're a fat ass. It's just if you eat it every day, that's when it's not good for you.
That's very true. It's a special treat, okay?
But then again, if you buy the right pack, they only come with 3, so you're done with them in like a day.
And they're so expensive you don't want to go buy
Yeah, and then
more.
you're like, I'm not buying more.
So in reality, they're helping you versus like you buy a whole pack of like drumsticks. And
Probably
there's,
because
like,
they have to. They don't want someone being like, they contributed fully to my obesity.
Nobody can ever say that about a Magnum bar,
No.
especially if you have a commercial with Joe, whatever his name is. He's just looking sexy as shit.
I think it's Magdaleno. I'm going to look it up.
That's when they had the gold ones, right?
Well, they still have the gold ones.
I don't know.
They're inlaid with gold, I
what
think.
are they? Like, what flavor are they?
Don't know.
Because they have a caramel one, they have the vanilla one, and then they have they had a double peanut butter one and a double raspberry and a double cookie cream. Oh,
Yeah.
I love ice creams.
Manganilo.
Manganilo.
Manganilo. God, his body is ridiculous.
I know.
Golly. Of course, like, the second one that pops up is just him in all his glory.
Yeah. Did you hear he got casted as Deathstroke?
No.
Yeah, I think he'll be a dope.
That's going to be
Deathstroke.
amazing.
Especially if they make him look a little older. I think, it'll be friggin' bomb.
Dude, for sure.
But they don't really even know. So I don't know if you heard about like the controversy with the Batman movie, because you know how
What
originally
movie is he going to be Deathstroke in?
The
Justice
Batman
League?
movie.
Oh, what Batman movie?
Oh, actually, no, I take that back. He is in the beginning of Justice League, from what I've seen the pictures of, and they have him in the full suit and everything, and he looks freaking awesome.
He's going to be a great Slade Wilson.
Oh, I know.
Like,
it'll be
especially
good.
because he's starting to get like a little gray fuzz down here.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, dude, so defined.
I think he'll be good in that. But he was supposed to be the main villain of the standalone Batman movie that Ben Affleck was originally directing.
Right.
And then Ben Affleck got kicked off the project. So
And the director, right? Or
they switched directors, yeah.
Yeah, so they switched him out and the producer, or
And
one
the
of the main. Yeah, that's what
It
it
was
was.
a lot. That
was him
movie
and the
is
producer.
just riddled with sadness.
But then they picked up somebody else that everybody's been kind of high about.
Matt Reeves.
Yeah, Matt Reeves.
He did War for Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Let Me In,
Nope, I don't want to see it.
Cloverfield.
Oh God.
I love him. What are you
You know,
talking
so
about?
many people like Cloverfield. It's amazing to me.
Cloverfield was cool just because I like monster movies, and they had such a good viral campaign with it. They had a website back when the internet was young and beautiful, and it had this like egg cube that was on the screen, and it had a timer, and you had to wait for the egg cube to explode open, and then it had like riddles you had to solve, and if you got all the riddles by searching on the website, it then opened up a thing that would show you a hidden fucking trailer for the movie. It was so ridiculously complicated, but I loved it because I was like, ooh, this is so cool.
Yeah, like it's like decrypting. You're decrypting the secret.
Yeah, and I think that's why it has like a special place in my heart. Plus, that was like T.J. Miller's big movie that I remember, and so him being in that, I was like, oh, that's T.J. Miller. He's cool, and he was my favorite part of the movie. Like, he was hilarious.
Yeah, he was pretty funny.
And his name was HUD, which is heads up display. I was like, that's so clever.
It's just,
I know.
The movie itself, the premise of the movie was shit.
Well,
like the plot, it was terrible. Like, I love monster movies too, but like, would you want to watch Godzilla in POV?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't at all.
If I wasn't
it would totally take away from Godzilla.
I love Godzilla so much.
Exactly. Like, you want to see Godzilla in all of his glory, not through the camera of some dude that's tiny sitting on the ground.
But you didn't like the fact that they slowly revealed the monster. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I see the monster all at once. Like, you see bits and pieces of
Sure,
him.
that's cool. Bring in the suspense.
Yeah. Godzilla, you're just like big fucking lizard. Even though, don't get me wrong, I love Godzilla.
Just wreck shit, though.
Wreck shit.
It's amazing.
Did you see, I don't know why I'm asking this because I know you didn't.
Mothra.
Did you see King Kong or no?
No.
Like I said, I don't know why I asked you. You hate monkeys.
I hate them. They're terrible creatures. And the only reason I don't like monkeys,
doing without it.
And it's not that I'm scared of monkeys. I've said this a million times. It's not that I'm scared of monkeys, because I'm not. But when I was a kid, my mom would show me this fucking movie, and it was called Baby Songs. And I was probably like 2.
That already sounds terrible.
I know, because it was. There's this movie called Baby Songs, and it was basically just little tunes that they would sing to teach you how to do certain things and not be stupid and not be a piece of shit. So
sounds right.
It was like one of the songs was called Sitting in a High Chair, and it was teaching you how to sit in a high chair and not be a piece of shit, basically. And so the kid or not a kid, sorry. They were using a monkey, a little chimpanzee, like a young one, and it's sitting in the high chair, and there's a human dressed as a gorilla with like an apron on.
What?
Walking in, and they're putting the food on the thing, and the monkey's flipping the fuck out, and he's throwing the food everywhere, and it's like and it's like fucking eyes are wide, and its mouth is open, its teeth are like it's pissed. And I'm just sitting there as a child, just like, oh, like, you know, legitimately like scared.
Yeah.
And the fucking mom kept giving him food, and I just like looking back on it now, it's like, why the fuck did you keep giving the stupid thing food? So,
better yet, why is this a child's thing?
Right.
To
exactly.
watch?
Like, why are they having a flipping out monkey? Because I mean, most kids probably aren't like me, and they're probably like, oh, monkey. But I'm sitting there like, oh, monkey. And so after that, my mom would have to fast forward through that every time I would watch that. Like, I knew what the color of the box was, because they had different colored ones. And anytime she would load up that one, I would tell her no. I'm like, no, don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. No, mommy. No. So one Halloween, it was probably like, you know, a year or whatever within that time period that I was watching those videos, and one of the neighbors dressed up like a gorilla for Halloween.
No.
And I loved being the one to go and answer the door. So I kept like asking, I think I was like 3, and I asked my mom, I was like, oh, I was dressed as fucking Superman and shit. And I was like, oh, can I answer the door? And then she was like, okay. And so she kind of walked like a little bit behind me, made it seem like I was doing it by myself, you know?
Yeah.
Go over, open the door, big ass gorilla standing in the fucking, and he was probably like, I don't know, he must have been like 6 years older than me.
Oh, really?
And so he's standing there in the doorway, and he's just like, and I'm like, ah! And I just closed the door and just ran the other way. And then he had to like take his mask off and like apologize to me and all that shit. But
wow.
Just in general, like over the years, like, yeah, I didn't necessarily hate monkeys for that whole time.
Yeah.
But like, you watch videos of monkeys that are flipping out or like hitting people or fucking, like a gorilla could literally rip your arms off.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is like the gorilla will come up to you, and if it decides that it wants to do it, it's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna die. So you are going to have your arms or your legs or your nuts ripped off, and you're just gonna sit there and die slowly, feeling every ounce of pain. That is the animal kingdom for you. And it's not just gorillas.
They don't give
if
no
you go
fucks.
into a lion's cage and it decides it wants to fucking eat you, it's gonna eat you.
Or bears, like in the Revenant.
Or bears. A bear's even worse.
Bears are so, like, dude, that...
We're talking thousands of pounds on top. There's literally nothing you can do. Like, if a bear wants to step on your chest, you're probably going to just have a concave chest.
You're in for the ride of
And then it's going to take its claws, and it's going to rip you open, or whatever the hell else it wants to do. It could literally fit your entire head in its mouth, and you're dead. Or if you're lucky, you're dead. If you're not, you're just going to bleed out because it's going to want to literally gnaw on your leg while you're alive. Like in Hostel.
Why do these people go and live with bears and shit
I
in
don't
nature?
know. And that's kind of my point is like, why do we mess with Mother Nature? Why do we mess with these animals? Like, I can understand, like, oh, you want to rescue them. But honestly, it's the circle of life, man. Yeah. Like, if shit's going to die, it's going to die. We don't need to rescue it. We don't need to put our hand in the matter. We're humans. Let's worry about us because we got issues going on right now. Yeah. We got Kim Jong, whoever the hell, is trying to launch shit at us.
It's Kim Jong-un.
I know. Like, United Nations. Kim Jong-un is trying to launch nukes at us at Guam.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you know how big Guam is.
Notice I'm not very big.
It's literally the size of a store. Like, it's not very big.
Yeah.
You could walk, within a day, you could pretty much walk across the island.
Really?
Like, it's not far.
That's tiny.
Yeah. So, that in general... and then he's trying to like nuke the outside of it. He's like, oh, we're just going to drop, missiles all around the perimeter of Guam, because Guam is basically a military base. Like, that's how big it is it's just a military base for the most part. Like, obviously there's more to it, but a majority of it is a U.S. military base because it's U.S. territory.
Wow.
So my point being that we've got a lot of shit we got to worry about.
Yeah.
And not only do we have to worry about North Korea deciding to do that, but we also have to worry about the fact that Trump is the one that's handling it.
We will meet them with fire and fury.
Hey, dude. You know what, though? I will give him this, man. When I heard that, I was like, hey, good on him, man. Good on him. Because you know what, dude? I'm tired of this pussyfooting shit.
Yeah.
Like, really? If that was anyone else, they probably would have not taken to Twitter and done it. Actually, he didn't do it on Twitter. I shouldn't say that because he didn't do that. But if I know that there's more political ways to handle shit like that, but for somebody that's like Kim Jong-un, I don't think he understands, and I don't think he can handle it any other way than the way he's putting it. You know what I mean? That's
just kind of how their whole country is. I mean, like, so many things are banned and restricted
because of him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that's the whole point. It's a dictatorship, so it's a single-minded entity.
Can you imagine having that much power? Like, that blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, you know what happens when you have that much power?
You turn into Kim Jong-un.
You want to nuke fucking countries for no reason.
Yeah.
You want to stick your fist up the butthole of a country that will literally kill you.
Yeah.
Desecrate your entire country in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Like, you will die.
Speaking of desecration, I didn't watch last night's Game of Thrones, but
I didn't either.
Last week,
oh,
there was actually memes that came out after Trump said that we will meet them with fire and fury, and it was just Drogon just destroying everything.
Oh god, dude! You know what? When that happened, I swear to you, I almost cried tears of happiness.
Yeah.
Because of how much that moment just like sat with me. Like it resonated through my body because of how long I've been waiting for her to be riding that dragon in all her beautiful just glory.
Yeah.
And then that dragon just swooping down and Jaime Lannister just looking like a scared little bitch.
What an idiot.
Dude, just and then the little subtleties. This is I hope if you're listening to this, you've already watched Game of Thrones.
Spoilers. Sorry.
Because if you give any shits about it, like you would have watched it already.
Yeah.
But that moment when just you see oh god, what's his name? Beside Jon Snow and the guy that was with Baratheon before.
He's so cool. I always forget his name though.
Lord, oh fuck.
Yep, it's not.
It's gonna bug me.
He's like
I
the
couldn't
nicest
think of it
man.
the other day, and I immediately thought of it afterwards.
Yeah, it's not gonna come to me. But yeah, he's like amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, they're walking down the stairs, and when he says to Jon Snow, he goes, "I saw the way you were looking at her." I was like, it's happening. It's happening. Dude, they're going to be the king and queen of the fucking North and everything. Just the whole 7 kingdoms. And they're going to have dragons and fire and ice are coming together as one.
And incest is okay.
That's if they're brother and sister.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then it's the Luke and Leia syndrome.
And the fact that like Jaime and...
I really hope they fuck before they find out, though.
And then they're like, uh-oh. Oops. Well, we redid
Sorry.
it. Then they turn into Cersei and Jaime pretty much.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah. They had lots of kids. There was only one that was fucked up. That's like the odds are pretty good.
Exactly.
Even though one of them was really, really, really fucked up.
Which one? Wait, what?
Joffrey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other kid was clearly fucked up because he committed suicide, too.
Yeah, everyone he loves was just destroyed in a matter of mere seconds.
I wouldn't kill myself.
I mean, he pretty much, I think at that point he realized I have nothing else to live for. My mother is a controlling, crazy person who just murdered millions of people, or thousands of people.
Yet she will never murder you.
Never. That's a mother's love.
It is mother's love. She will kill everyone except for your father, who is her brother, and you.
So did you hear the sad rumor
uncle.
about the Drogon, her main dragon?
Yeah. What about him?
So you know how that one's supposed to be like Khal Drogo, right? Like her.
Right.
So she named them all after different things. So Khal Drogo died of a shoulder injury when he got like...
And he got the spear
in the same shoulder.
Yeah.
So there's a thing saying that that's going to be the dragon that dies first, which if that happens, I'm going to cry.
It is going to be.
Oh, no, don't say
You know it is.
She's going to lose at least 1 or 2 dragons. I've already accepted this.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it didn't happen last night. Nobody freaked out on the internet, so I'm assuming it didn't.
Yeah, I know. I didn't look at anything because I don't ever look at anything.
Well, you know how like somebody on Facebook's like, oh my God.
I never go on Facebook, so that's...
You're a wonderful man for that.
I don't
I look at
enjoy
it once a day at least.
You know what? I had a period of time when I was really bored that I was looking at it every once in a while. Actually, I was looking at it pretty much every day, but I went back to it and I'm just like, man, it's so, you know what it is it's because I don't like things where when I'm scrolling through them, you know how it's very inconsistent in the sense that sometimes it'll show you something that somebody posted from like a fucking week ago.
It's super random.
And then you like it and it looks like you're going back in their feed. Like,
and they're like, why are you commenting,
why did
creeper?
You like something from like hella long ago? Like that doesn't make sense. I don't know. There's better sources for me to get my information than what everybody else thinks I should be looking at.
That's true. I send you stuff on there still, but I figure eventually it's nothing that's life-threatening where I'm like, if he looks at it eventually, like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I sent you one the other day, and it was such a Vinny thing that it literally made me the happiest person on earth. And I'll give you a brief version of it. So they show somebody driving around a car, and instantly I'm like, okay, they're like, this is the craziest thing you'll ever hear or see. So I'm automatically thinking, oh, it's going to be a car crash or somebody's going to get in a huge fight or something. And it's literally whoever's filming is listening to a radio station. And the radio station has this girl on the phone and they're like, oh, so what did you want us to do? They're like, oh, I need you to call this guy and figure out why he hasn't called me back. Oh. So they call the guy and they're like, hi, this is this radio station. We have this lovely girl who wants to go on another date with you. You've already been on a date. You haven't given her a call back. And he's like, is this a joke? And they're like, no, like she would like to go on a date with you. He's like, I'm going to be real honest with you. He's like, I know her son. He was a big asshole to me in high school, so I fucked her to get revenge on him. And then she comes on the line. She's like, what? And she's like, yeah, your son's a fucking asshole. She's like, you really slept with me? I really liked you. He's like, yeah, to be honest with you, I don't like you very much. I just really wanted to.
That's so fucked.
He's like, I can't wait to tell him I just fucked the shit out of you.
Oh my god, dude.
It was such a Vinny thing, and I was like, he would love this.
It's
This is great.
amazing. And see, like, it's a Vinny thing because I find it so fucking hilarious because I love douchebags. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I don't love them as people. I think they're pieces of shit, but god damn it,
They
man.
cause some great humorous moments.
They do. It's just funny. Like
People
that
without
poor
filters.
girl.
Oh, yeah.
Like that poor girl. Like she's probably devastated because of it. But just
I would whip my son's
whole,
ass
like,
after that.
Good God. Mama raised me way better than that guy, but damn, that shit's funny.
That's so... And he said something... He's like, he ruined my fucking life, and now I ruined yours.
Like, that is not an eye for an eye.
Oh, my God.
That is like an eye for an ear.
Revenge is definitely a dish best served cold in
Oh,
that circumstance. Oh, fuck, man.
Good God.
I know we don't have Matt here, so we can't go, like, super deep into YouTube, but I feel like he's definitely enhanced our life with YouTube.
Oh, 100%.
Like, there's so many things that I didn't know existed in the world, and we briefly touched on it last week about Joey's World Tour and how much I absolutely despise it.
I got my other coworker into it.
No, you didn't.
He doesn't like it.
Oh, good.
No,
But
he's
so
like
the same
you.
reason as
He
me.
despises him, and
We watch it because we
Hard.
hate it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I love. You know what, man? Is Matt has turned me into one of those people that I just enjoy watching the world burn.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy watching just people be fucking idiot humans. Like they just suck at being humans. Like
Yeah.
you're very bad at things.
And who bought them a camera? Dear
Exactly.
God.
Especially the kids.
Yeah. the
Like
kids are
if
the
anything,
worst.
it's teaching me to be a better parent.
Yeah.
Because when you look at some of these kids and they've got, I mean, all you got to do is buy a kid a laptop and they've got a webcam
Yeah.
and they can do whatever the hell they want to figure out. Dude,
I feel like if we become parents, we're gonna be so much smarter because we know, like we were
I
kids
know
once.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Like you can, when I walk in the bathroom and you're talking out loud, I know you're talking to yourself in the mirror, dude. I do it. It's
Yeah.
cool. I know.
It's
you
practice.
don't have to be embarrassed.
No.
So don't get mad at me for walking in.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're doing. Or if I walk into your room and your ass is like, oh, and then you get pissed, don't get mad at me.
Do you
I know
remember,
what you're doing, man. It's okay. I don't judge.
Do you remember the video we watched where it was just audio and it was of the kid playing Call of Duty and his mom caught him
Yeah.
and he's like, my pants just slipped off when I was playing the video game. Oh my, I have never been so horrified in my whole life.
You know what's funny, man, is I think about like if I had a son and like I caught him jacking off or something, you know, like you accidentally just walked in on it. And I probably would never be that dad that just walks into the bedroom without knocking, you know, but like, or the dad, because my mom used to do that shit to me where she would go knock, knock as she's opening the door, you know, that shit used to piss me off so much. Like she would be like, knock, knock, I'm coming in. She wouldn't even say anything. It'd just be like, and there goes the door. And I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. Luckily, that's never happened to me.
That's
I'm
good.
very fortunate in that aspect.
So I have somebody that something horrible happened to, and I can't say their name, but I will tell you the story because I just heard it the other day and it's gold.
Oh, God.
So there's a couple I know, and they...
Do I know them?
Yeah, you know them.
Okay.
And
know
at
who
one
it is
point they
already.
lived with one of the people's parents.
Sure.
They lived with the guy's parents. So she was helping, like, you know, clean, and she made cookies, and it was just an exciting time for her. And so she gave some to the mom, but I guess the mom usually eats a lot of cookies. So she's like, oh, I better save some for the dad. So she goes into the dad's office and to give him some cookies, and he's fucking just wanking it. And they look at each other, and she's like, I made cookies. And he goes, oh, I'll take one. And he reaches over with his hand. He wasn't using it, grabs the cookie and says, thanks.
What a G. What a G. Didn't even break stride.
No, he's just like, oh, thanks.
Oh, man.
That's why you should have like a do not enter my office sign or something.
Doesn't matter. You're still going to do it.
It's still going to
She
happen.
was doing it in good heart. She was like, I got cookies for you.
And
That's worthy of you just walking in. And why would she think that his dad was going to be jerking it?
No, like midday?
Yeah.
Everybody's
Like,
home?
if anything, man, you got to wait till nobody's home and do it at night.
But then I was talking to the guy, and he's like, well, where's the thrill in that if you do it when nobody's home?
Oh, God, no.
I was like, dude, that is the
thrill
most...
of getting caught.
Oh, that is the most horrible thing
No
I've
way.
ever heard.
But, yeah, I think if I was a dad and I walked in on my son, like, jacking off, I would probably just be like, I don't even know. I would probably have some kind of response that would just be in the realm of, get it.
Be like, son, just
get it.
Just get it, and then walk out.
Oh,
Get it, boy.
You do you, boo-boo, and then close the door.
I don't know I don't know how I'd react. I think it's one of those spur of the moment things. I have to be in the moment to experience it because I don't even want to think about it. It physically just makes me think.
Does it? Does it make you cringe?
I don't.
The thought of walking in on your son when he's jacking off?
Other people.
Now, it's a whole different story if I walk in on my daughter.
No, don't.
Because
no.
I don't even know. That's a different realm. Because if I walk in on my daughter rubbing one out, I'd probably, my natural reaction would probably be like, you do you, get it, and close the door. But like in my head, I would be dead inside.
I feel like there should be a rule for all parents that they have to like blindfold themselves like with their hand as they walk through a door, just in case. Like that way, like give your or knock. What happened to the knock rule?
Just knock.
And
Don't
if they're like,
in.
give me a moment, be like, okay, I'm gonna wait the moment just in case.
But at the same time, though, there comes a certain point where
if
they don't respond, like, what if it's late at night, man, and you got a teenager son, like, dude, are you sneaking out? Because I did it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're sneaking out, I gotta know. Like, I'm gonna find out one way or another. So at that point, you gotta kind of like, and maybe that's where that comes into play. Like maybe screen the eyes a little bit, do like one eye little peek, kind of crack the door a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I see the fucking sheet going like this real quick.
You're like, and I'm out.
And nope, he's home.
I was such a goody two shoes, dude. I never friggin' ran out of the house or anything.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you never jacked off. I'm like, you're a lying sack of shit.
I'm talking about trying to leave
never
the
snuck
house.
out?
No, never.
Really?
I there was times I was like, maybe I should. But in my first house, I lived on the second story, so there's no fucking way. And then, that was.
Did your mom sleep downstairs very often?
No, sometimes it depended. Like if I went out, she would sleep downstairs until I came home, just because I think that's a natural parent thing. They're like,
yep.
I want my child to come back.
Yep.
And me, it took me a while to get rebellious.
People.
Like
all my friends, it was never like that, but it was like that with me.
Yeah.
My mom was always awake until I got home.
Moms,
always,
man.
Dude. She
you
would
love
always
them.
stay awake till I got home.
And they're always just like, you'll know what we experience when you're older.
Nope. I'm going to be passed out. I trust you.
Like, peace, dude. Do the right thing.
If you die, it's your fault.
That would be rough, dude.
I know. It'd be terrible. I'm not saying that. But sneaking out, like, I did it. I would say I could probably count on two hands how many times I did it in my teenage years.
That's not bad.
Like I snuck out I snuck out a couple times to like TP houses with some friends before.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that? I've never done that.
It's boring. It's not what you think it is. You spend money on fucking toilet paper that you're never going to use. And nowadays, now that I'm older and I've actually had to buy toilet paper before, I'm like, man, that's
adulthood,
waste of
right?
Good resources. Like, god damn.
The things
I was here buying 4-ply quilted northern to stick in a tree.
Did you ever do prank calls or anything like that?
Yeah.
I tried once, and me and David recorded it. And literally, we did a Miss Cleo one. So we had like the soundboard with the Miss Cleo.
Nice.
And so the lady was like, who is this? And we just hung the fuck up and laughed for like 20 minutes. And literally, it wasn't even very long. It was like, how are you, darling? Are you a Virgo? And she's like, what? And then we just were like, done.
Oh, man.
We couldn't commit, dude. But Joey, I've heard he's had some gold.
I'm sure he has.
We'll have to have him on to talk about him.
Unbelievable.
He's ridiculous. Like, he got in a fight with a guy. I won't tell his story, but I'll just briefly mention it. He said he got in a fight with a guy where he's like, yeah, you.
It's funny because we know all of his stories.
Yeah, But there's something about the way Joey tells stories.
I know, it's amazing.
It's
There's
literally
a reason why
great.
it resonates with us.
Yeah.
Is because it's the way he says it.
We definitely picked up, I'm sure, a lot of his verbal dialect bad habits that he would do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember there was one point where we're all just talking like Joey.
I know. I never said fuckboy until Joey.
No, and that's like my favorite word.
I know.
Like if
I say fuckboy all the time.
Yeah, what's the guy
Joey.
from Actor Studio? Lipton.
Oh, yeah.
If he ever asked me what my favorite swear word would be, I'd say fuckboy.
Fuckboy. Matt and I were just talking about this the other day. Matt said he likes it, and I agreed with him, but I like phrases, like cussing phrases that are very out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Like him and I were talking, and like I was playing a video game, and I said "son of a fuck," and he was like, "That's a good one." And it's just like those little random ones that you don't expect, or like "what the shit."
Yeah.
Like those to me are some of the best little phrases you could say, just because I don't know.
They're a use of the word that you don't normally say. Like if you say like cock nugget, like that's just funny because it's two words that don't ever go together. Yeah, I agree.
You're just like dick weasels.
You could literally. Oh, that's a good game. Next time we should try to make words, because I think that would be really funny.
Just do like cuss words.
Yeah, and see who can come up with the best
The one that makes the other person laugh the most.
And then that's a good game.
And you have to like stay straight faced.
Now, would you and me do it and have like, per se?
We could do it and then have Matt sit there.
And then him be the judge.
Because he likes shit like that.
Yeah.
So then we would each take a turn, and we're trying to make him laugh, and the person that makes him laugh the most
I like this game.
gets it. I like that game. That's a good one.
We're definitely trying to get more into the game thing. I spent a good amount of time looking up games, and there's not a lot of people that do a lot of games.
No, it's true.
But games are so fun.
I know. I did the Would You Rather on mine.
I did enjoy when you did that.
Yeah.
And then the true or false thing was cool too. Like it's the only thing that was wrong with it. You told him there was 3 right and 3 wrong, but then he still got it wrong. Did you notice that? Yeah. He guessed all 3 of the right ones, and he's like, "Is the 4th one right?" I was like, "No, there was only 3 right ones." Oh, so that was cool. I did enjoy that too.
Yeah.
But I think that adds like another element to, especially for podcasts, because I know not a lot of people have the patience to sit through 2 to 3 hours of people talking.
It's true. I feel like the one you did with Matt, you did at the end, and I liked it at the end, but I think it's better suited for like middle of the.
That's what someone else was saying.
Podcast
is if you have one in the middle,
break.
One at the end.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time people, that's how you kind of get them to stay with it. You're like, with the fact you have this game at the end, they kind of want to be more invested in it.
Yeah, like they're looking forward to it, but at the same time, if they don't care,
then
they're not gonna. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Like developing a podcast is something that's amazing to me. Like, or any kind of entertainment show, like people that do little YouTube shows or anything like that. Like, it's so crazy to actually think in the creative mind of those people and like see what they've gone through to get to where they are, and like you're traveling that same realm, and it's insane to me.
It's a lot of work.
Have to come up with this content.
Yeah.
Because like Ben and I can talk for hours, and pretty much every day we do.
Yeah.
But when you have to do it once a week, and you have to come up with basically 2 hours of entertaining conversation to everyone else other than just you two.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
And it's also trying to not be repetitive, because there's some things that you and me will find as inside jokes that we could literally talk about every week.
Exactly.
But nobody else is going to really want to hear that.
But at the same time, the stories that we've talked about a million times that nobody else has heard
are gold.
Yeah. That we probably wouldn't think of telling because of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really excited for Matt to meet Ben, is because when they talk, it's going to be the first time they've ever talked.
That's so interesting.
It's going to literally be just Matt telling Ben all kinds of stuff that he's probably told me a million times that I wouldn't even think to ask him.
Yeah.
Or Ben is going to ask him questions that I wouldn't think to ask because I've already talked to him for the last, 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be, that's why I'm excited for it.
I think that's a good concept too, is to be able to talk to people that you don't normally talk to, and make that like even a regular habit. Like, obviously, you know your friends and Ben knows his friends, but the fact that you guys can meet each other's friends and have that be the first legitimate reaction is such an interesting concept. And not a lot of people do that. Obviously, with celebrities, that's different, because when you are talking to a celebrity, you already have in mind that you don't really know these people, but you have these questions and you still got to play it cool. And the same thing with people you don't know. This is your first impression, and it's on a podcast, it's live.
Yep.
These things are going to stick. So you want to make sure that you're not a terrible human being.
That's great. Or that person can actually talk.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because, like, if they end up not being able to just have a conversation, like, that's, like, you got to be able to put the microphone aside and be able to just focus on the conversation.
Yeah. It's definitely easier to talk with a person than talk by yourself.
Yeah.
Talking by yourself leaves a lot to be desired, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes I'm sure eventually you guys will get to a point where, like, if Ben's busy and you still want to record, that's going to be the haps.
It might be fun for us to do, like, a joint, because, I mean, I record on my laptop.
Yeah.
So I think, and, I mean, I'm sure whoever's listening, like, they could give us, you know, input on it too, but because there's no better input than the people that are listening to it. And more than anything, that's where we appreciate everything that you guys do, is if you're telling us, you know, what's good and what's not, that's what's going to make it better and better for you guys to listen to. So we really appreciate that. But I think it'd be cool to do like a session of D&D and like record it.
Yeah.
Just as a podcast.
We were just talking about that yesterday. That's so funny you said that.
And just kind of listen to the whole thing. Because there's a lot of people that don't either know about D&D because they haven't played it or anything like that. And I really want to get kind of into that because like Ben's never played it before. And that's why I want to have Matt talk to him about it, is because it's going to be like an education moment. Like he's going to be able to give him tons of input on it.
See, we're on the same wavelength with that, because I literally have like pages of research I did, because I think it's so interesting that there's a negative stigma around it, because people think of it and they're like, oh, that's just a bunch of nerds hanging out saying stupid shit to each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much deeper.
It is.
And I've even printed a list of the most popular celebrities that
play.
Yeah. So I'll probably do that on the next
Diesel?
episode. Vin Diesel's a huge one. Now, he came out with that movie, The Last Witch Hunter. I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
Yep.
And he did that with the Critical Role gang, right?
Matt Mercer and Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey. And I don't remember if Ashley Johnson was there. I don't remember if Liam O'Brien was there.
It was a short version anyway.
Or
right?
Sam Riegel. Yeah, so Matt Mercer, speaking in terms of comic books, he's a, I guess not comic books. Yeah,
Heroes. You can just go to the hero section.
He's a voice actor.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Anthony would be more well versed in what voices he's done for the comic book world, but
he's done so many.
He is a tremendous voice actor, but he is also one of the best, if not the best. Chris Perkins is obviously, he works for Wizards of the Coast. So,
that's a whole other level.
He's a whole different level. But they're two completely different people. Like, Mercer is by far a better storyteller than Chris Perkins is. Matt Mercer is one of the best dungeon masters in the business, or in the world in general. Like, bar none, he can pull shit out of his ass that you wouldn't even believe. And I envy his ability to be able to be that good of a dungeon master, as being a dungeon master myself. And the how much work goes into a Dungeons and Dragons session is just, it's insane. It's insane how much preparation you can have to do, or if you're like me, you can just try and wing it, and sometimes that works better.
You're the king of winging it.
Yeah, like Matt was talking about one of his friends. I'll probably let him tell that story, but winging it is definitely something that I enjoy, just because, you know, it
challenges you to think on your feet too, which is something that I feel like is a skill definitely in reality. Like, obviously jobs, they want you to be able to think on your feet, and same thing with talking in public and talking with other people, is you got to be able to be witty and quick with what you're saying.
Yeah, and the issue with D&D is no matter how much stuff you prepare, and no matter how much stuff you come up with, or all the different NPCs, and
can
you
all
get
go to
it
shit
all
in 2
predetermined,
seconds.
it's probably going, and probably will go into shit in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you're literally going to be just torn apart. Your whole story is going to be torn apart. Most people aren't going to follow it.
Well,
Like,
you're trying
could
to
be
predict
like,
the human mind, which
exactly,
is unfortunately
which there's
unpredictable.
no way I could predict anything that anyone else is going to do.
Yeah.
So me being able to just be like, I don't even know what's going to happen, so let's just go with it.
Yeah.
And then just creating the whole story from there and just coming up with characters. And, you know, sometimes I'll come up, like, I'll premeditate what, like, monsters are going to be in it or anything like that. And that helps me. Because then I'm like, okay, now this monster, I want to have this monster and all of these monsters and whatever, and where would they be? And then I can kind of think of, like, the area that they would be in, and then I'm like, okay, so they would be more in, like, a cave setting. Okay, cool. I'm going to have them travel on this road to a cave. And that was basically how I got to that spider area when you guys were fighting the spiders and you guys went down into the cave, and it was like a blood cave, and like it was actually performing a ritual and like all that stuff. That's how I came up with all that stuff. Was I was basically like, okay, I like this monster. Where would they be? Probably a cave. They're going to go into a cave. And then everything that led up to that point, no idea.
It's all free game after that.
Didn't have any plans.
It's such a fun experience. Now I know there's a lot of people that do it like even online where you use the webcams and stuff like that. But it's such a cool sense of community, especially if they're, you can make friends real easy that way. And I mean, some of them are probably, more into it than others, but yeah, I think everybody should try it at least once. It's a nice experience to at least say you've done it. And I mean, it's been popular since the 70s. So it's obviously not something. Now, I'll save some of my random facts for another time. But I found out that Steven Spielberg was super into it, and he played it with all the kids from E.T. before they started filming. So they had a D&D sesh just to get it out of the way and try it.
It's amazing.
That's so amazing.
Talk about an icebreaker, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just starting out on a movie before you're filming it, or any kind of job or whatever, you just met these people, if you had you find their true colors real quick.
Yeah.
Like, because as much as, like in Critical Role, for instance, which is on Twitch and Alpha. Alpha is a paid service. You can go on there, and realistically, there's not really much of a difference if you do Alpha. It's just they change the screen a little bit, and there's some cool little tips,
extra info
and stuff like that. But the Critical Role guys, they're super into role playing, so it's basically just consistent. They are those characters. Like Matt and I'll find ourselves every once in a while, instead of saying Marisha Ray, we'll say Keyleth. Or instead of saying Travis, I'll say Grog. Like, just because those characters are so good. And I would highly recommend watching that to anyone who wants to even get a general idea of D&D. If you don't want to watch the show religiously, or you don't want to get into it, skip ahead. Watch, some of the later ones, maybe in the 50s or the 60s. Because realistically, in the first I'd say 20 episodes, 25, it's really difficult to watch because they were very low budget. They didn't have any way of getting the camera right, and it was really not that good. But the story is just amazing from the beginning, and it gives you a very good idea of what it's like and what you could be like if you actually gave two shits about role playing, because it really makes a huge difference. Or if that's not your style, you could be like Chris Perkins. Watch Acquisitions Incorporated. Acquisitions Incorporated is very not role playing. They think as if they were role playing, but they don't actually voice act as their characters. But they're very like situational. Like, would my character do this or would they do that? And
I like that too.
yeah, and it works because
that's pretty much what we do. Like, what would you do in this situation?
Right.
And that's just normal conversation that we have.
Yep.
Like, would you rather game? Like, same type of thing. Like, what would you do in that circumstance?
I know, and it's been a long time since we played.
Yeah, no, it's the problem with that is it's very time consuming, and unfortunately you have to have a lot of time.
See, and the thing is it doesn't have to be time consuming, but in order to get like a really good satisfactory session in, you're probably looking at a good 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that.
But afterwards you feel like you've been to war.
It's amazing, and you haven't moved. Like, you spend 5 hours and you just left the city that you were in. You've
been in like 2 fights, and one of them was probably with a bum. It's like the most like tiniest little adventure, but it's great. I think that's why I'm so very much into like gaming and stories. Like, I really like good stories because they're literally the foundation. Like, you want to care about these people and you want to care about the world you're in. And when you have a lot of games that aren't, like, they don't have great stories and you just don't care. Like, you'll pick it up, play it once or twice, and you'll set it down.
It's true.
Did you ever play that, what was the Horizon game?
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah.
No.
I've heard that has, like, the best story.
Yeah, Matt said it was very, he said it was like Last of Us, but like
With robot
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I don't know if that's a tall order.
That is a
Last
tall
of
order.
Us I was connected to. Like that
From the second it started.
That storyline, I was connected to it the entire way. It's like Game of Thrones. Like I was connected to it the entire fucking way.
And we never read the books.
Never read the books.
Or
Harry Potter, I was connected to.
Yeah.
Through all of it. Lord of the Rings. God damn it, I didn't want Frodo to die.
Now, do you also feel like with those things, you have a deeper connection because there's multiple movies? So you have more and more time to grow up with these characters?
And so that plays into the current day, the modern day era, which is TV shows.
Yeah.
The Netflix, the binge watching, things like that. And the reason those are working is because I can become more connected to those characters in one sitting.
Yeah, you can.
and when you carry that over multiple seasons, not only are you building up suspense between them, but now you can have, instead of being limited to, for instance, Lord of the Rings, which should stay a movie. There's no reason why Lord of the Rings should ever have been a TV show. It wouldn't have worked.
No.
But if you had a movie like that or a story like that, and you gave it to me in season increments, and then it was season after season after season, now I've got, instead of 3 movies at 4 hours each, I've got 12 seasons at, that I can either binge watch or whatever, and they're an hour episode each. If you talk about Game of Thrones, I relate those similarly because I pretty much have as much love for Game of Thrones as I do Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like I equally like them. Like if I had to choose between watching Game of Thrones or let's say rewatch Game of Thrones and rewatch Lord of the Rings, I do have more nostalgia for Lord of the Rings, but it would be a hard toss up between the two.
That would be really hard.
Yeah, like if someone said like, "Hey, you can watch the Two Towers for like the 50th time or you can rewatch Game of Thrones." I would probably rewatch Game of Thrones because I've never rewatched it.
And there's more content.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much content.
That's the other thing with TV shows, though, is you don't go back.
Yeah.
Like,
you
I can safely say I've never gone back and rewatched a show.
Really?
Aside from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. I've done that with a few.
I've rewatched How I Met Your Mother or Seinfeld. I've rewatched Seinfeld. But that's because the episodes, like, trickle in, and when you used to watch TV all the time, like, it happens.
So Chanel actually just recently started Breaking Bad, and we've tried to get her to watch that for years.
Wow.
And it's the same reaction she had when I started Friends for the first time. Like, you get to see the glow in her eyes of having somebody else watch it. And I feel the same thing with her watching Breaking Bad.
How amazing that show was.
It's so good.
I know.
And just rewatching it with her, like,
so how does it feel rewatching it? Like,
great.
Seeing Jesse as like a little piece of shit high schooler again.
It really kind of triggers a lot of, like, I'm just like, oh, this person, I can see why they turn into this person, and like, it's so rewarding because there's events that you realize how much they actually impacted the character.
Yeah,
and I think that's such a cool thing for people that want to rewatch it, especially like you said with Netflix.
Yeah.
Something else with Netflix that I'm curious to get your opinion on is on August 18th, The Defenders comes out. Are you excited or not really?
Defenders are...
that is the group of Luke Cage and Daredevil and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones.
Are they having all the original actors in it?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah,
now,
I'm totally down for that.
They had a trailer
Luke
that came
Cage
out.
is a terrible superhero. But that's cool.
Did you ever see like the original comic art for him?
Yeah.
It's literally like the stupid, he looks like a disco guy.
He's basically Black Dynamite in hero form.
Yeah.
Which is a great movie. Black Dynamite, you should see it. Totally. 100% watch it.
I love me some blaxploitation films.
It's amazing.
You know, that guy could have done it though. Michael Jai White.
Hilarious.
Michael Jai White could have totally done
Totally
Luke Cage.
been Luke Cage.
Like, Mike Coulter did a good job.
Yeah, not that he was bad or anything. It's
No.
just the whole even the comic books. Like, it's not even just how they their rendition of it was bad. It's just not. He's not a good superhero. Like,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy him.
No, it's hard to and this is my thing. Obviously, we've had this debate before. I have a harder time relating to Superman because he is so strong and has all these powers, and I think it makes it harder for me to connect with him for whatever reason. I mean, it's probably just me personally, but I have a harder time connecting to him because his only weakness at that point is like multicolored kryptonite. So I mean, that's his one thing.
Yeah.
So I like the emotional depth that a lot of movies and TV shows have given to Superman, because they've made it so, like, not only is kryptonite his weakness, but he's weak to women for shit. Like, immediately he's just like, I'm a loser.
Yeah, that's a terrible weakness.
I know, but how realistic is that? Everybody in some point in their life has been weak to women.
Every day.
You could be Superman and then still fall in love, like, and still get your heart broken. Like, it happens. But like,
Superman has feelings, though.
He does.
He does have a heart.
But you don't really.
Broken. He's still gonna get the job done because he's Superman. Because he's a superhero, and that's what you have to do.
Unless it's Flashpoint.
Look at Barry Allen.
Barry Allen's
he still gets shit done.
And then he fucks it up.
But he still gets shit done.
Did you hear that?
Like, how many times has he had to leave a situation where he was, like, either completely sad or pissed off and had to go save the world? All the time. Superman has to do the same shit. Superman killed Lois Lane.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you think he felt after that? He killed everyone.
Well, so that's a good point. So, like, with Flashpoint, obviously that whole thing was alternate realities and things like that. Now, if Superman... I feel like he's a good example of a character who something so terrible could happen that it just fucks him up, like, super bad.
Yeah, he's like, fuck humans.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I
don't blame him either. That's why Injustice was so cool when that came out and things like that, because that was so, like, you're just like, oh my god, did that just happen? I feel
his pain, even though, goddamn, their characterization of Superman was god awful.
Yeah, but I mean, it was an alternate reality Superman, so it was okay.
He looks like he worked at Wall Street.
What about the new one?
That's what I mean.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the first one.
No, the two. He looked awful.
He has some teeth. Like, their animation with the teeth, he's like...
It's just dumb.
It was good rendering, though. Like, the character creations were interesting. Like, they weren't like your typical ones, which were cool. My close second,
and it's pretty close because when I was a kid, I really liked him too, is the Flash.
Yeah, like, everybody gave me shit for liking, well, because I was like, he's one of my favorite superheroes.
I used to say the same thing, and people would be like, oh, you just like Superman. And then I'd be like, well, I really like the Flash. Like, it's very close. Like, I love the two pretty much almost equally. And the Flash, it's because I really enjoy, I don't know, the whole speed thing is just amazing to me.
And the fact that he fucks up so often, like,
and
all the time.
I lightweight liked Aquaman when I was a kid too.
I did too,
because I thought being able to talk to fucking animals is cool. Like,
I did
despite
too.
the fact that he can only talk to water animals, it was still kind of like, that's really
that
cool.
fool can ride a shark.
I know,
like, that's exciting.
I know.
Everybody's like, Shark Week. Yeah. He can just literally do it,
dude.
And he can race
so
sharks.
Cool.
Like, he's so cool. And especially, like, on SpongeBob when they used to make fun of Aquaman with, like, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were awesome.
I know. I love Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Just a bunch of retired heroes. Like, it's great.
And that's why, and I will say this, because when I was a kid, I didn't give two craps about Wonder Woman. But what they have done with Justice League.
Yeah.
In all of this. In all of the movies that have recently come out, like with Wonder Woman and what they're doing with Aquaman, and they are really taking these characters and making them awesome.
They're trying very hard.
There are characters in there, aside from not making Superman look the best, but they are taking the characters that really need help.
Yeah.
Because people don't really follow them as much. And they are making them look dope. Because Wonder Woman was badass in that movie. Like, even though the movie's premise, meh, but her...
she's great.
Amazing.
And it's great because these are characters that, like Batman and Superman, how many outings of movies have they had to try to get their character right and how to get people involved? Batman's had more superhero movies than I think any other superhero.
I know.
Like, easily, right?
Easily.
So I think it's crazy that, and I mean, how many times have they tried Fantastic Four, and that's failed every single time, too? So for Wonder Woman...
But I never liked the Fantastic Four.
Really?
No.
Never? Not at all?
No, never did it for me.
Even though
Invisible
Jessica Alba was
Girl,
dope?
Elastic Man.
Mr. Fantastic is
I
cool,
know.
okay.
Fantastic. He's elastic. His fucking arms are elastic. Like, that's stupid. It's like Stretch Armstrong.
Do you think it's weird when, like, you have...
What's his name? Flame on. What's his fucking...
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm.
Yeah. Fire.
And then Thing.
Human Torch. That's
Human
what his
Torch.
name.
And
I was
then
trying to
the
remember his
Thing.
name.
Just doesn't do it for me.
Why do you think there's blatant rip-offs of certain characters? Like, so...
Between the two? Between DC and Marvel?
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
do you think they try to jab each other? And that, like, well, for
Like
instance...
I can do it better?
Yeah, like, for instance, Deathstroke came out first. He
Yeah.
was the original Slade Wilson. And then they thought it would be funny if they made somebody like him. So they made Deadpool, and they called him Wade Wilson.
That's
so it's
true, okay.
it's literally the same thing, but they thought it was a funny joke. And
But his
I thought,
character is so much better. That's why it's
true. He's more of the stern badass
see,
assassin.
and I see where you're going with that because like they both use swords.
Yeah.
And they're but
The masks are even similar.
That example, they're a little too. They're not as close related.
But do you think it's weird that they would?
I think it's weird.
They can get away with that. Like, I think that there's got to be something where I mean, I guess it's freedom of speech and everybody, and as long as it's not the same character. But like Wade and Slade, like if that's the only thing separating your two characters, I'm like that's a little weird.
I guess
or
there's really nothing you could do.
Green Arrow and Hawkeye.
Yeah, no, that for sure.
That's fucking crazy
Except
weird.
Green Arrow's a better character. He uses trickster arrows and shit. Like he's
Yeah.
a trickster in general.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Which
like,
yeah, so I mean, I guess tit for tat. I don't know who came out first. I would assume Green Arrow came out first.
for that one, Green Arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that means every once in a while it doesn't really work.
They've never tried to do. Well, I guess Tony Stark would be your Batman then, right?
Sort of.
Because they're both the techie billionaires that have lots of money.
Batman came out first.
Yeah. But I don't... Superman? Who would be your Superman?
What's funny is like with Superman, I always looked at what was the kid that grew up every time he got big, had a cape?
Shazam?
Shazam.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I always looked at the two and I'm like,
That
they're kind of similar. Like, why are you doing the same thing?
Do you hear
he's
them
like
making
Shazam, and then it's like a little kid that comes to life. Like that's stupid. I know what you're trying to do. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to relate little kids into you can be a superhero too because you're a kid. No,
I'd buy into that. You know what's weird? So the Shazam's arch nemesis is Black Adam, and they casted The Rock as Black Adam like 3 or 4 years ago, and he's not even going to be in the Shazam movie. So how does that fucking make sense? They said they're going to give The Rock his own standalone Black Adam movie.
Well,
I was like, what?
I would think that what's going on there is that they're not ready to introduce his main antagonist yet.
Yeah, kind of like they did with Superman.
Spider-Man.
They did Zod,
It's like
and now
Spider-Man.
they did Doomsday.
It's like Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man too.
Because like Spider-Man, it's every single time. Aside from this last one, which was amazing.
I really liked it.
I
too.
told you, man. Like,
You were
and
right.
the more you sit on it, the more you're like, God, that movie was good.
And it was so different.
Yeah, just different. They didn't do the Uncle Ben shit.
For like
and,
the 50th
and
time.
Aunt May was hot as fuck. Like, what a way. Just good shit.
Marissa Tomei, man.
Marissa Tomei has been a crush of mine for many years.
Since My Cousin Vinny, probably.
My Cousin Vinny. And goddamn, she's hot. And she's
great.
old, too.
She's still
doesn't
still
even
good.
look it.
Yeah,
she's
no.
amazing.
She's one of those people that's just like, she looks the same age forever.
She's just gorgeous. And she's Aunt May.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me.
But I really like Sally Field as Aunt May. I know she may be not on your attractive list, but I think she was a great
Sally
Aunt May
Field was
too.
good Aunt May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the first lady's name. She was just like an adorable old lady in the first few Spider-Mans. She was great. She's just like, oh, you do too much. You're not Superman.
Yeah.
Which I think is funny. They did that too. That was like in the first Spider-Man, and I was like, did they really just do that?
You're talking about the Tobey Maguire ones?
Yeah. So she got like beat up by Green Goblin, and she's in the hospital, and then he's just like, "Oh, I gotta go do this," and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're not Superman. You don't need to run around." Do you know who I'm talking about now?
Sorry. The only reason I was having a moment was because I was thinking about the Tobey Maguire movies, and I was like, there's no fucking way that Aunt May was Sally Fields in that movie. No. Like, that lady was old.
It's sad we've been through that many iterations of Spider-Man, too. Like, he's probably the second closest to Batman in terms of just redoing movies over and over again.
Honestly, this newest Spider-Man, best one.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Not just because Tony Stark was in it, because he was also great.
No. It's hard because I can't say that the first Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire movie, I can't say that movie is not one of my favorites because I truly love that movie.
And it's got a special place in your heart.
Yeah, it does. But as far as how well executed this one was, it's definitely up there.
Marvel has their shit together, dude.
If anything, it's number 2 because, yeah.
Marvel
does not have their shit together because Captain America's movie sucked.
Which one? Civil War?
First one.
Oh, you know that's Joey's favorite
movie. I know, and it sucked. And I guess they were getting their footing still because that was in the very beginning of when they started doing like all of
their
Marvel,
Phase 1 stuff.
Singles. Yeah.
And
their Phase 1 stuff, Iron Man was amazing.
Iron Man was good.
The first Iron Man was great.
It was very good.
And then they had Captain America. It sucked.
Thor was good. I enjoyed Thor.
I hated Thor.
You hated Thor?
I didn't like Thor.
Really?
Not that I don't like Thor. I just didn't like the Thor movie, the first one.
It looks like they've progressively gotten funnier to the point where they lean more on Chris Hemsworth because he's such like a funny dude.
Yeah.
Like he's a handsome looking funny dude. Yeah. Like God bless him.
But you know what? He's one of those handsome guys that it is every once in a while he's not handsome to me.
Really?
Yeah, like when I see him sometime, I don't like him with long hair.
You're not a big...
I think he's more attractive with short hair.
So all the Thor Ragnarok trailers, you like him with the short hair?
He's way better looking.
He looks badass that way.
He does, I know.
Girls love long hair. I do not know what's up with it.
But you know what, man? And this is something I came to the conclusion of, is because I had long hair for a long time. And I've had it multiple times, is I think long hair doesn't make girls want to have sex with you. Long hair just makes them envy your hair and say, oh, because I used to get told, oh, your hair's so pretty, or your hair's so beautiful, or whatever. And I'd be like, thanks.
So you're like a pretty show pony, pretty much.
Yeah, like, oh, you look so good with long hair. Like, thanks. I mean, I get when I had long hair, I was always in a relationship, so it's not like I could do anything about it anyway. But realistically, like, where's the...
Yeah, that's very true.
Said I'm just getting a bunch of compliments. Like, I've never really been in a relationship and had that moment where a girl would be like, hey, we should totally do it, you know? And I had to say no. Like, yeah. I've never been put in that position before. So, I don't know. But I don't think the long hair thing makes girls want to fuck you. I think it's everything about you. And then they're like, oh, Andy's got long hair. That's cool. It's like it's the little straw that breaks the camel's back kind of thing.
I feel you.
But yeah, girls do love long hair.
It's weird, man.
But if you're ugly under the long hair, they're like, you got really nice hair.
that's the one thing you got going for you. Enjoy.
That's the only thing girls ever told me.
No,
You've got very
shut
nice
your
hair.
mouth.
Like, oh, thanks.
Oh, shut your yap, you crazy.
I've got nice hair.
Everybody tells you you're a good-looking dude now. Just shut your mouth.
No, they don't. Who?
Everyone.
Who?
I'll get out the notebook and start writing some names down.
Yeah, the next time somebody's like, oh, Vince is hot. There you go. Tell me.
Hey, there was one time we were at Target and we were both in Ninja Turtle jackets. He was wearing Raph and I was wearing Mikey. And we came back to his truck and there was
a note. We do that. Yes, we do.
We're those guys, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
we go in like twins.
What'd that note say, Vinny?
I don't know.
Oh, you know. What did it say?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It said, you are some sexy Ninja Turtles. And that was what was there.
See, and in our heads, we automatically are like, okay, it must be that this is something that they're just saying to us. But at the same time, you know, maybe somebody's just trying to be funny. But we had to tell ourselves that it's actually legitimately two extremely hot women that were telling us that we're super sexy.
For all of time, that's what it'll be.
And that's how we're going to accept it for the rest of time. Even though chances are it was probably one of the ugly dudes that worked with us.
No, don't ruin the one happy moment at Target.
It was girly handwriting, though. So it could have been a gay guy, though. Which I would find equally flattering.
I would, too.
Yeah.
If we were
Like
just
if it was just a gay guy in general, and he was like, "I really like your ass," I'd be like, "Thank you."
you remember that
appreciate
one
that.
time we went to
It's almost as good
Stockton
as a girl.
and
What?
that one guy was all over you?
Which one?
Forget his name, but we went to Stockton and it was one of the friends of the people up there, and he was just, I think his name, Eric?
Oh,
Yeah, that
Eric.
guy.
Oh, what was his last name?
Wrangle.
Wrangle.
Why did we know that?
Because I have him on Facebook still.
I do too. He started like a music career.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good for him,
I
man.
know. Good for him, dude.
That's crazy.
That was when we were going up to visit your friend. What was her name?
her name.
Katie.
Yeah.
Katie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
We would
cool.
drive up to UOP.
We never had the college experience, so
No.
I feel like it was cool that at least we would go and meet people that had that. But I'm so glad we didn't do the college thing. Like,
No, it was not. I mean, it was cool. Like, we went to that one. I think it was like, because we went up there, all of like 2 times?
yeah.
And then we went up there and we went to that one party that night. And everybody was so nonchalant about it. And you and I are like, holy shit, like, this is crazy.
They're like, this is norm.
Yeah, and it's just, yeah, it was a cool little party. It was out by the pool or something. I can't remember what it was. No, it wasn't. It was just in the middle of like a different dorm area.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy was failing on me, dude.
See, you have admirers. He's going in the book.
Okay. From years ago.
Hey, it counts, okay?
Now, I don't even think I had facial hair back then.
Dude, one day you're going to, as like a dare or something, if we get you to a certain amount of
Nah, it's not
subscribers,
gonna happen.
you need to shave the beard
Nope.
once.
Nope.
Guess what? It grows back.
Nope. Never. Then if I do that, you grow a beard out.
I
As
will.
long as I tell you to.
I haven't shaved in like a week. It's happening slowly. It's better than some of the other people we know that take like fucking 4 years to grow like one chin hair.
I hope he's
No
been
offense.
actually following through with it, and he's probably going to listen to this and go, fuck. But Matt just shaved the other day, and he was like, let the record show I shaved today. And I was like, okay. Well, I was like, take a picture every day. We're going to do a time lapse.
Ooh,
And so
that would be so
he took
fun.
a picture and sent it to me, but he hasn't taken a picture and sent it to me in the last like 4 days.
To be honest, though, he probably has enough time where it won't make a big difference if he skips
I
a few
know.
days.
I
He should
know.
literally take a picture every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, and
then
just
that'll be
see
good.
how it turns out.
That would.
'cause
That's smart.
Yeah.
Have you seen the guys that do those?
Yeah.
That's so so awesome that they took that time and they made sure they were in the same position for the whole fucking
You
year,
know how
2 years.
difficult that would be?
It must be. So, they might have to have like an X on the floor, and they make sure they stand perfectly aligned on that spot every single
Yeah,
day.
with a just camera set on the tripod at all times.
Yeah, that's a project though.
But then you would have to turn the camera on and press the button
yeah,
while it's sitting there
probably helps if you have somebody helping
with
you.
the screen. Like you'd have to, I guess you just make sure. Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking in this room for whatever goddamn reason, my brain's fucking stupid. I'm like,
Everyone-
if the
everyone
camera
does
was
it,
right
man.
there on that tripod,
It would make total sense, right?
like I wouldn't be able to get behind it because the wall's there. So stupid.
No, you're just thinking logically
I hate
for
my brain sometimes.
dude.
don't-
Me too.
I really do. You
Really?
ever- yeah. Do you ever just have those moments where you're like, I fucking hate myself.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Like I'm such an idiot. I'm such a complete. I am my biggest critic.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
100%, dude.
You will be your hardest critic at
Always.
all times. Which is, it's funny because you are, the way that you think of yourself, and I think everybody does this, is that
I don't think everyone does it. I think that's the problem with the world.
really.
Yes. I think the people that aren't critical about themselves are the ones that are assholes and they suck.
They have their head shoved up their
Yeah,
ass.
no, that's it. You have to be critical of yourself in some aspect. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable for when you fuck up.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're never going to think you fuck up.
And nobody's perfect. Like nobody's
Exactly.
perfect. If you
Nobody's
you accept the fact that you're fucked up and you have a lot of flaws and you're okay with that, then that's as close to perfection as you will get because you are okay with what you are.
Yep.
But people have, like you said, they have to understand that everybody's got problems. Everybody's got stuff they got to fix.
Everyone.
Like, it's just reality.
But I do it all the time. Like I'll fuck something up and I'll be like, God, I'm such an idiot. Or like I'll go out to grab something and then I'll have in my head like, okay, grab this and this. And then I go out there, I grab one thing, come back in, and I'm like, motherfucker. And then I got to go back out to grab the second thing.
Yeah, that's
It's
a pain
like,
in the
dude,
ass.
seriously?
Yeah, that's just
Like I don't want to have to grab both things and take 2 trips. Like it just makes me angry. Like
just being harder on yourself.
Like, what was I thinking?
I feel you. Well, we are at the 2-hour mark, my friend. So I'm going to cut us off until Saturday because, or not Saturday,
Sunday.
I'm going to cut us off till Sunday because Sunday you're going to be joining me for my Triple S, my SummerSlam Spectacular. So that'll be fun. I'm going to have you and Matt here, right? Yeah.
I think so.
We're going to talk some wrestling. So that's why I was going to hopefully keep a little light on the wrestling.
Pre or post?
I think we should do post, and if you want to do, I think we should do pre, and if you want to do post, we can do post. Like, even just a short post.
So you just want to do predictions?
Yeah, we'll just talk about it. And I know, unless you want to do post.
I feel like we would have more to talk about if we did post.
We can do post. I'm cool with that. Post
Just like, I haven't followed as much.
And that'll catch you up real quick.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 6 hours.
6 hours? Oh, man. SummerSlam is so amazing.
I know.
I love SummerSlam.
My
It
real
better
brief.
be fucking good. I'm going to be pissed.
One of my favorite SummerSlam moments with you and me was when we were, it's for the dumbest match, of course. It was when it was Stephanie McMahon versus Brie Bella, and Nikki was off to the side. And it was when Nikki turned heel. But Stephanie finished Brie with a pedigree, and you and me lost our shit. And we literally were like running around the room high-fiving people. And there was a good amount of people, probably like 10 to 15 people.
Nobody gave two shits except for us.
We're just like, oh my God.
Nobody ever cares as much as we do.
We predicted it for weeks.
I
We're
know.
like, Nikki's going to turn on Brie.
Nikki's
Nikki's going
gonna
to turn
turn.
on Brie. That was a great
I
moment.
love heel turns.
And I'm sure you were happy when like Randy stole the title from, or cashed in his money in the bank on Daniel Bryan and stole his title the same night that he won it.
Yes.
There's just some great SummerSlam
Because I
moments.
called that. I was like, he's going to do it. He's going to cash in right after he wins. You were like, there's no way that's going to happen. And I was like, no, it's going to happen because Daniel Bryan's not getting a title.
You know what we should do? We should find some really good, like 2 or 3. It doesn't have to be many. We should find some really fucking good SummerSlam matches, play them for Matt, and then we could talk about those too. Like top 3 best SummerSlam matches,
That'd be
because there's
cool.
a few.
And compare him to the ones that he saw that night.
The majority of the matches will probably be shit.
Yeah. Like, is there any decent lineup?
The main event sounds amazing, and I know you're going to have your reservations about it, but I think it's probably one of the most exciting main events I've heard of in a long
As long as it
time.
doesn't have Rusev in it.
No, it's literally Brock versus Joe versus Strowman versus Reigns. Like, it is just a powerhouse.
Really?
Yeah.
I just want to see Brock Lesnar torch all of them.
Me fucking too, especially amid the rumors of him leaving for
Fucking hate
UFC.
Roman Reigns.
I think he will murder.
I'm so excited for
Because
that.
they've been on TV, they play it up every week about how if he loses at SummerSlam, he's going to quit WWE.
Oh, that's not happening.
So, but how smart of them because of
That's
what John
great.
Jones said.
That's
like,
great.
it's so good. So I, as much as you may not be excited for that match, I think when you watch the build for it, like when they have the little preview,
I like Strowman.
Strowman's a beast. Dude.
Strowman's dope.
He's had
I
some
hope
of the
it
best
comes down to
moments.
Strowman Lesnar.
Oh, that'd be so good.
I want Reigns to get. Is it an elimination match?
No, but
What
they
is
can
it?
still knock his ass out.
What is it?
It's just a fatal 4-way.
Oh, okay.
So I think that'll be good.
I like that. That's cool. I can't stand Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. He's worthless. He's a worthless wrestler, dude. His moveset is shit. Like, in general, as a wrestler, he's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that's the whole. It's a fucking entertainment. It's an entertainment industry. Like, you're supposed to entertain.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Samoa Joe that's entertaining. Not even his character is entertaining.
I find him entertaining, but that's just me.
Roman Reigns isn't entertaining, and he's still on the main
We
card
can
somehow.
definitely agree on Roman Reigns for sure.
Somehow that motherfucker is still on the main card.
He will get his. But
Because he's got a pretty face, that's why.
oh, such a pretty face.
I hate it.
I hate
He's
it.
such
All
an
the-
attractive man.
Any girl I've ever met, it's like, oh, he's pretty.
Such an attractive man.
I hate him, and he's just so terrible.
I know.
With his, I mean, he's better than he was, but he just needs to not talk, and he just needs to beat people up, and I would be
know.
completely happy with that.
I know, dude.
But yeah, we'll see you guys on Sunday. You can follow Guardians of Discourse on different stuff. You want to give your shout outs?
Yes. Guardians of Discourse on YouTube. We have our SoundCloud at Guardians of Discourse. And we also have, I'm not even going to say our Twitter. And then, yeah, that's basically where you can find us. It's myself and my co-host Ben. And we are it's pretty much every Mondays. The last couple Mondays we haven't done it. Just
Technical
because
difficulties.
of reasons. But next Monday, we're going to be starting it back up again. And so every Monday, and that's pretty much it.
Well, I love your face. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a quick 2 hours, dude. Too. Oh yeah, whenever you guys need me, I'll be there.
No, because it's gonna be great. Because I want it to be the first time you meet Ben too.
It's sad though, because I feel like I already know Ben because I've listened to your podcast.
Dude, isn't it cool?
It's.
That's good though. That's what I like. I want people that don't know us to listen to it and either just hate us immediately or be like, I kind of like these guys.
And I already know I'm going to be friends with him.
Yeah, exactly. Like you already know that it's going to work.
He's going to listen to my podcast and be like, this fucking jerk off talks about wrestling and comic books for 2 hours. Like, fuck this guy.
He loves everything. Like he's got such an open mind. Like he's just like me, man. Like he's down for whatever.
But yeah, you guys catch them on those things, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heroes in Headlocks. Join us next week, and as always, be sure to follow us on Podian.co, YouTube, and Facebook.